you to know that we're online now. Yeah, we're live.
No.
I was actually trying to get it so that while you were talking about the cat, I could like start it because it was kind of a nice natural moment, but you fucked it up because you stopped talking and I was like, damn it.
How'd
That's
you know I
okay.
was talking to the cat?
Weren't you? Because you put the dog in the kennel.
Oh, yeah.
See, I'm paying attention.
Yes. She approached me now that the dog was gone.
Yeah. I'm going to throw this. Oh boy. Let's see what's happening. All right. So, what's up, man? How was your day today?
It was regular. How are you, my
Yeah?
Canadian friend?
I'm good, man. I had a really good day today. I woke up, I chilled in bed for a bit. I didn't want to get out. It was like 6:30. I woke up. I was like, meh, staying
Oh,
in
man.
bed. Yeah, I don't know.
I somewhat hate you for being a morning person. That like makes me want to dislike you a little bit.
Why?
Because you're such a morning person. I hate it.
I don't think anybody I know is a morning person. I think most people that I know like to sleep in a lot. For me, sleeping in is like 6 a.m. I got up at 5:30 as well.
God.
But then I was like, fuck this, I'm going to sleep because I don't like it's Saturday. Why am I waking up at 6? But I'm an old lady and I also went to bed at 10:30 p.m. last night. So
Oh my God. I don't
yeah.
know how you do it. I just don't. You're an abnormal person.
Yeah, but I used to sleep in till like 10, 11 o'clock like years ago. But now it's like I'm too active. Like I woke up this morning, I chilled, I made breakfast, I chilled around for a couple hours, I watched some YouTube, and then I have a Google Chromecast. It's this little thing that hooks into my TV through the HDMI port, and I can just
I know
I
what a
can
Chromecast is. I live in the
yeah,
21st century too.
listen, okay? I didn't know about it. So let me talk about it because I was like, wow, this is what technology? I plugged it into
Oh
the
my
TV.
God.
Yo, I just use my Android and it's like psh, anything I watch on my phone, I can put it on the TV and it hooks up anything through the Wi-Fi. And I was just like, wow, $40? Like that's it? I can watch anything on there.
Yeah, I'm telling you,
Yeah.
you need to get on my Netflix account and watch the Doctor Who series.
I have Netflix, bro. I'll just watch it when I have to. I never do. I never watch shit. Like anything I watch is usually YouTube shit.
You gotta watch it. You gotta watch Doctor Who.
Okay. All right, fine. I'll make time to do it. But see, like shows and stuff, I can't watch by myself. Those kind of things I like to watch with somebody. Or like if you came over and we watched it, that'd be cool. But you're in fucking Oklahoma, so I can't even do that.
Oh
Ain't
God,
nobody gonna watch Doctor Who
Oklahoma,
with me.
fucking Oklahoma. Sound of it, it just
Oklahoma.
sounds horrible. Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Where are you from? I'm like embarrassed to say it. Oklahoma. I'm like I try to say it under my
Why?
breath, like Oklahoma.
Yo, is that in the Bible Belt? Is
Oh,
Oklahoma part of the Bible?
it's the fucking buckle.
Oh, is it really? I thought Texas was the buckle.
Well,
Texas.
Texas and Oklahoma pretty much go hand in hand.
Yeah.
They're the worst. They're absolutely the worst. We voted for Trump down here.
Did you? Just give me one sec. Hello, Lev. Hello, Doggers. Hello, Morgan. Hello, Spencer. These are all people from my Atheism is Unstoppable chat stream friends. So they're like, hey.
Ah, shiznit.
So it's okay. It's all good. So I didn't know that. I'm actually not too aware of the geography of anything really, not even my own country. I barely know where the places I've been in the States are, except for like California and Washington, because that's really fucking easy. I didn't know you live right in the Bible Belt, though.
Oh
I
yeah.
know you've told me that actually. So you're surrounded by a bunch of religious people, hey?
Hell yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, most definitely.
And your son is how old now?
9. He's
9 years old. And how have
yeah. He's
you've
almost as
raised
tall
him
as
in a,
I am.
he's what?
He's almost as tall as I am.
Oh, I thought you said he's almost as old as I am. I'm like, is that a self-deprecating immaturity
No.
joke? Because that was pretty funny.
No, I'm not that immature, nor is he that mature.
I'm definitely that immature. So you raised him in a secular household, right?
I guess so, since I never really pushed religion. I never really pushed against it either, though. So
No.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, you
Agnostic, maybe? I don't know.
yeah, but you consider
Non-religious.
yourself an atheist, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So how does that translate into your parenting?
Um,
Like, how do you deal with that situation? Because I know you don't push him either
mm,
way. I know you like to, um, make sure an open mind is kept so that he can kind of make his own decisions and stuff.
yes.
But
But my mom did ruin that because she tried to successfully actually indoctrinate him into her Christianity. She's Pentecostal Christian too, which is like the worst. So he thinks to her, considers himself Christian.
so can you explain to me
Um,
Pentecostal Christianity? Because like in the most basic way you can, because I can't.
so that's
I
how
don't
I
know.
grew up.
Yeah.
I was forced to be Pentecostal Christian, which
Mhm.
is the branch of Christianity that speaks in tongues, that is endowed with
Oh
the Holy
no.
Ghost,
Yeah.
and dance and prance around and collapse with, you know, the power of the Holy Ghost.
Really?
I went to church. Yes, they fall over almost
Whoa.
every service. And that's saying a lot because Pentecostal churches tend to be super religious because
Yeah.
they go to they have services, mandatory services too. Like you're so judged and looked down on if you miss a service. It's like it was like
Mhm.
Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and two services on Sunday school, and then the service in Sunday afternoon. So that was my life growing up.
Wow. Hmm. And
And a
have you
lot of
ever taken
people
Yami to church?
do what? What you ask?
Have you ever taken your kid to church? Can I
Oh
just
no,
say
yeah,
his
I
name? Is that
have.
okay? I don't know why I'm
Yeah,
freaked out. Yeah,
no,
Yami.
yeah,
Okay. Have
yummy.
you ever taken Yami to church?
Yeah, I've taken him to a Buddhist temple. I've taken him
Mhm.
to a Hindu temple. I've taken him
Mhm.
to, I think it was a Baptist church.
Mhm.
Um, the Hindu and the Buddhist temple were so he can see very different religions that he has no idea about. Because I don't
Mhm.
want him to be indoctrinated, but I would totally respect if he decided to be Christian on his own,
Yeah.
um,
Would you though?
which he's not doing.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, if he's gonna explore, you would think that the last thing he'd want to do is be a Christian.
Yeah.
But I don't know. The churches are really watered down these days.
It's so people like I don't know, they cut down and they cherry pick so that their beliefs like perfectly match them, which I don't agree with. Like, I don't know. If you're gonna be something, then fully commit to it, is my
Mhm.
opinion. But um he believes in heaven, and we had this conversation just 2 days ago, Thursday night, because
Mhm.
he was showering and for some reason he came out and he was crying. Like he came out in his underwear soaking wet.
Mhm.
And I was like, what's wrong? Freaking out. And he's like, I don't want you to die, and I don't want to die, crying
Mhm.
his eyes out. And I was like, what brought this on? Why? What's
Yeah.
going on? And he said he was just in the shower, and it dawned on him that he's either gonna die or we're gonna die, and he hates the idea of both.
Mhm.
And in that moment, I could see I could see the allure of, a safe haven of, oh, don't worry, honey, we're gonna see each other again in heaven or blah blah blah.
Mhm.
When you see your own child crying like that, you want to make him feel better.
Mhm.
But that's not how I roll. So
Yeah. So what'd you say?
I told him that he's been dead longer than he's been alive. And how
Mhm.
did that make him feel? And he didn't understand it. So I explained it to him. I said, for billions and billions of years, you haven't existed, which is what you consider death, the lack of
Mhm.
life. And he asked me about that, what I meant by that. And I said that the cells that created him have
Mhm.
pretty much existed for a very long time. And I told him how cells were made, and they were I told him it was almost beautiful how most of everything that is him, carbon, iron, um,
Nitrogen.
oxygen, was all,
Mhm.
yeah, it was all born in the death of a star. And
Mhm.
he said that was beautiful. But I told him that I asked him if he remembered what it was like to not exist for all those billions of years. And he
Mhm.
said no.
Hmm.
I said, well, when you've lived your life and it's your time, whether it's an accident, whether it's a disease, or whether it's old age, which is pretty much, your organs failing. I said,
Hmm.
you're gonna just go back to that. You're
Yeah.
not gonna exist. I was like, and there's nothing, because he's afraid of it being dark and lonely.
Yeah.
And I
Because
said,
he has the idea that he's still going to be conscious in some way and
yes, and that's
experiencing that.
and that's a very difficult thing to explain to a 9-year-old,
Yes.
consciousness and the lack of it. I was like, it's
Hmm.
impossible to, even for me as an adult, to imagine the lack of consciousness, because I am conscious.
Yeah,
So
we don't
it's
even know what consciousness is as scientists yet. We can't even fully explain the concept of
exactly,
consciousness and where it comes from. So we're not gonna, our feeble minds aren't gonna understand that shit. We can't expect the mind of a
exactly.
9-year-old to wrap its mind around it, right?
Yeah. So
Hmm.
as a mom, I did my best to explain that, and it seemed to soothe them. And we got into like this big talk about um what he thought would happen, and he does believe in heaven. And I asked him, do you even know what the biblical version of heaven is versus what it's been painted to be? And he said he didn't. And I said, really? In the Bible,
Hmm.
when you go to heaven, it's not this like awesome place that people think of. It's, you go to heaven and you adore and worship that the Christian God for the rest of eternity. It's not like,
Hmm.
you get to party all the time, you get to pretty much be on a vacation. It's a lifetime of worshiping
Hmm.
that God. And he didn't know that, but it didn't seem to change his mind. He still thinks he's going to go to heaven, and we're going to see him there. And off the back, I'm going to say I'm a relentless and very blunt and honest mother. So I
Hmm.
made sure I told him.
Yeah, that's why we're friends, because you're honest and blunt.
Yeah. I told him that if he believes what he believes, um, then he should know that people that have done awful things and then repented
Hmm.
are going to be in heaven with him, if he believes that.
Hmm.
And he didn't understand that, so I explained to him that someone could murder someone and they can just repent and accept Jesus Christ in their heart, and according to
Hmm.
that belief they're fine and ready to go to heaven, right? I told
Yeah.
them some versions, or some branches of Christianity, you just have to do that once and you are set to go to heaven no matter what else you do. And then other ones you just have to do it over and over, like Catholicism. You just go and confess and do like some Hail Marys and you're good to go.
Hmm.
And he, that kind of upset him, but I'm not trying to like destroy the idea of heaven or destroy the religion. I'm just trying to make sure that he knows all versions. I don't want him to just think it's this la la fairyland that he's probably been told. I told him, if you've read the Bible, which most Christians haven't, it's
Hmm.
not like that. It's
Yeah.
not like What Dreams May Come. Have you seen that movie? I love that movie.
I
It's
haven't
with
seen it, no.
Robin Williams. It's a pretty deep movie. It's freaking awesome. But um so that conversation was tough because it's, you want to tell your kid, "Oh, we'll see each other again. There's nothing to be afraid of. Don't worry." But I can't lie. And I promised my son a very long time ago, since he had self-awareness, that I
Yeah.
would always be an honest mother. I would never lie to him just to make him feel better, just to sugarcoat anything. I would never do that. And so he's even, not too long ago, he told me that he appreciated. He's like, I know other kids, their moms or dads would, lie to them or not tell them the truth, and I'm happy that you tell me the truth. So it's not like he doesn't
Mhm.
appreciate it, even though sometimes it scares him. Like,
How does he deal with, because I'm sure he goes to school with kids whose parents are religious. Do they not talk to him about the shit? Like, does he come home to you with weird questions, or has he come home with questions from other kids?
no, but his best friend, the ones I've told you about, that these, the little girl,
Yes.
me and her mom, me and her mom were pregnant with the babies. Um, she is also a Christian, and I guess they talk about it. Like, when he slept over, I think last weekend or the weekend before that, he told me that uh he's afraid of the dark. He doesn't like the dark, so he has a nightlight here.
Mhm.
And over there, they didn't want the light disturbed them, so they just told him to pray. And he just mentioned that to me, and I don't really have much to say about that. I mean, I as much as I don't agree with religions and all that, I also don't like dogging on people unless like they're actually hurting someone with their beliefs, and that's when I get pretty upset. But like
Yeah.
my friend, her kids, they especially the mom, she really respects my atheism and she doesn't treat me any differently, so I'm not about to dog on her
That's
beliefs, you
really
know.
cool.
Yeah. Although she did tell me she had to tell her kids because I forget what it is they asked, but apparently they asked where I was gonna go.
Oh,
And she
shit.
had to tell them that I was gonna go to hell
Mm. Wow.
because I didn't believe. So I was
Yo,
like,
that's
I
so awkward
mean,
though. Like, how do you tell? How is that okay with people? I just don't understand that. That is your kid's best friend's mom you're talking about, right?
yeah, she's also my best friend. I mean, we've
Oh,
known each
right.
other for like over a decade.
Right.
Yeah.
So she straight up tells her kids you're gonna go to hell?
Yeah, I mean, like in a factual way, not like a
Wait, what
judgmental,
do you mean
you
in a
know,
factual way?
like, in her belief, you gotta understand, like in her mind, this is the truth. There's a heaven and a hell and a God. That is the truth. So when her kids ask, what's gonna happen to, they call me Gummy because they couldn't say Diani when they were younger, so Gummy just stuck.
Yeah, yeah.
What's gonna happen to Gummy when she dies? And she, what's true to her said,
Yeah.
well, she hasn't accepted Jesus Christ. Well, mind you, I did accept Jesus Christ in my heart as a little girl because I was forced to.
Yeah.
But she said she doesn't believe.
Yeah, does that not bother you though? Because if my friend who was close was telling her kids that I was going to go to hell because I don't believe, I'd be kind of bothered by that. Like you're cool with that just because it doesn't interfere, like that doesn't interfere in your relationship at all?
I'm cool with it because I know her and I know that she said it like that, like factual. Like I would tell you if talking about her, she's a little bit ignorant because obviously
Mhm.
she believes in all that and doesn't question it, doesn't really even know a lot about her own religion or hasn't bothered to
Mm.
learn about other religions. It's just facts. It's not like in a judgmental or I'm better than you type of way. It's just her
You
kids
mean
ask the
you mean
question.
alternative facts? That's alternative facts because that's obviously not
Yeah,
factual. I don't care if you're getting it from the Bible or whatever. In accordance to reality, it's not factual. It's totally alternative facts. So those are religious, if you
yeah.
want to call them facts.
Yeah, that facts to her. That's what she thinks is how it works.
Mhm.
Um, and and even when it comes to that, I really try my best to not dog on other belief systems because I don't want him. I've dogged on like terrorists and extremists and people that have impeded on, you know, uh, gay
Mhm.
rights and like abortion and stuff like that. My son knows all he knows about Muslim extremists, he knows about abortions, he knows about rape, he knows about gays and stuff like that. I
Caves.
I
The caves.
well, you know how some parents they will refuse to tell their kids about that, like they
Yeah.
want to shelter them from that for some reason. Um
Yeah, this would be a tough one for me because like I take the line of thinking that it's good to know about other religions, right?
mhm.
Like it's good to know of them, it's good to have an idea, but just give me a minute to think about this because this is a
It's still uh it's
like
still
I would want my child to know about like obviously what the hell is happening in the world and for that purpose for
yeah.
knowing what is happening in the world and what kind of ideas are floating around there, I think it's a good idea to give them the exposure to that. um
Mhm.
and now you have me considering whether I'd be like don't believe in God, you know.
Yeah, see, I don't want to do that because it just like my mother made me Christian, like she forced me to be Christian. I wouldn't want to be forced the other way either, you know? It all you can do is present your version. Well, this is how I think anyway. I present my version, my reasoning, my ideas, the data that I have, and it's up to him to choose his own way, to make of it what he will. Actually, I just remembered him some books that were co-authored by Stephen Hawking, and they're George's Key to the Universe, and some other, I forget the other one, but it's the same character, and it's around the same. It pretty much George and the Big Bang is the other one. So it's a kid-friendly version of, the Big Bang and how the universe works, scientifically speaking, and I explained to him, all I can do is explain to him why I'm not Christian or Muslim or Hindu or Buddhist, or, that's all I can do. Jeez. Do you hear that vibrating? Because my phone charger is being weird.
No, I don't hear it. You're good. Hello?
So,
have I lost you? Ah! Just kidding.
No, I'm here.
You know what?
That's another thing.
What?
What? That's what?
Oh, you're cutting out. Okay, so this has me now thinking about like how my parents like kind of taught me about right and wrong, and like I don't really think they did. Dude, my parents didn't fucking talk to me about anything. Like they just shoved me in at Khalsa school, which is a Sikh school. Okay, and like
oh my gosh.
I went there and it was like a regular private school, and like there was a block, I believe it was a half an hour to 45 minutes of temple where you had to fucking sit there. They have this big shrine in the front. There's this like guy in a turban waving this like brush over the holy book, and it's like, what the fuck are you doing? And like even from a very young age, the concept of like religion just didn't settle well with my brain. So I went through Sikh school from preschool to grade 5, and it never sunk in with me. I never was like, oh my God, 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 God. Like it just never, I don't know. It just never, I never jived with the idea. It never resonated with me. It never touched me in any way. That sounds so pervy. It never permeated. It did not permeate my blood-brain barrier. You know what I mean? And like, it's just weird to think about.
And it's weird because I was the same. I was exactly the same. My mom would have to like threaten never buying me a toy again or take me out to the Mall of America, because I grew up in Minnesota, and the Mall of America is like the second biggest mall in the world, and it's like awesome. There's an amusement park in it. Never take me out to like the water park. She had to threaten me with things that as a child, of course, I wanted. I wanted toys, I wanted candy, I wanted the Mall of America. And so I had to go with it. I had to, because either of those. So that's kind of odd,
that's
that we.
Weird, man. That shit is like, it's really hard for me at this point not to see it as child abuse, because you are cognitively hijacking a developing mind. You know what I mean? Like to put them through this programming, and that's exactly what it is. I mean, the one thing that I agree with religion in general about is that it provides a form of structure. Structure is necessary in order to create conditions for freedom, but the specific structures that come out of religion, I just find abhorrent, and I can't. I mean, there are ways to utilize terror and fear to get people to behave a certain way, and I just think that religion did that in the most negative way possible. You know what I mean? I don't agree with like the fucked up parts of religion. I'm not talking about any of that kind of shit. What I'm just talking about simply is structure as a concept in general. That's the one thing. That's the only thing that I can lend credence to religion for. And it did it wrong, absolutely wrong in every way. I don't think that it was a good thing, but like for the times that it came out from, I can see why it was necessary. It's bullshit now, it's not needed. But
yeah,
structure is necessary. I think structure is always necessary.
That's like Okay, so religion is like teaching a dog how to, behave in a puppy, how to behave in your household, and trying to potty train a dog by hitting it with a belt or spanking it and punishing it when it does something wrong, rather than the approach I'm trying to take and is like when it does something right,
Mhm.
or showing it it's doing something right by rewarding the puppy.
Yeah.
I feel like I don't need religion to teach my son right from wrong and
Mhm.
give him that structure. And the way that, because I do get that question, which is annoying.
How
How
do you
do
teach
I
a
teach
kid like
my
right from wrong?
yes without religion? It's like I'm sorry, I don't need to be afraid of a deity to
Yo,
know
isn't it
not to kill
just
someone.
it's just so fucking weird to me. Like, we have this shit built in us. If you do something shitty,
Exactly.
you feel shitty. If you do something good, you feel
Exactly.
good. We have a reward system in our brain that helps us determine
Exactly.
that. And I
And that's
just
what I
fail to
say.
understand. Yeah. Well, you know what it is? It's like, so I'm reading this book right now called Maps of Meaning: The Architecture of Belief by Jordan Peterson. And in it, he talks about how our like myth, the whole idea of mythological stories, all the stories we get from the Bible and these religious texts and stuff, what they're actually attempting to do or attempting to explain is warring parts of our psyche. So gods represent different parts of the psyche that are constantly warring for dominance. Like, I haven't fully read the
Mm.
book yet, but it's a really interesting thing to think about because it's all about just behavior, right? It's all about controlling behavior, curtailing behavior, directing your behavior towards some greater good, and severe punishment if you do something bad. Like, it's so.
Like the id and the ego, maybe?
Yeah, I mean, he definitely mentions Freud in it. I need to finish reading more of it. It's a really heavy book, and I got get my highlighters out when I'm reading it. I got tabs going, like, holy mother, man.
Yeah. I mean, it's an annoying question even when I'm asked to, like, how do I know right from wrong? Because I have a human brain. I mean, I don't know how I'm supposed to answer that. We do have empathy, we have sympathy, we have chemicals, like you said, I feel guilty. We're obviously not made to kill because PTSD wouldn't be a thing if killing was an issue for our human brain to handle,
Yeah, but
you
again,
know?
people don't understand the idea that everything is your brain. Your consciousness is your brain, your thoughts are your brain, everything that's happening is happening within that 2 pound mass in your head. They think it's their spirit, and they think their spirit or their mind is a separate entity from their brain, which is why the whole heaven and hell thing exists for so many people, because they think, oh, okay, once the physical manifestation is gone, that spiritual or mind manifestation is just going to float off their body into some fucking ether that, like, all these books tell them exists. And it's like, I guess that's where the comfort comes from, of soothing the fear of death. But like,
Yeah,
people don't have that basic understanding. I mean, people don't. Everything that's happening with me and you right now is nothing but neurochemical transmissions.
exactly. And I mean, we don't have to be like pragmatic about it by any means, but I mean, you can be aware of it.
Mm-hmm.
Because over
Yeah, but
pragmatism is
people don't
also
believe it.
something that I don't like. Like Brady, my husband, just in case, obviously nobody else
Mm-hmm.
knows that but you. So Brady, my
Yeah.
husband, my co-parent,
Mm-hmm.
he had this little phase where he was just overly pragmatic and it was just like fucking painful,
Mm-hmm.
you know? Like you don't I understand like love is just obviously chemicals in the brain, certain chemicals and that's it, but you don't have to belittle it like that. You can enjoy love. There's nothing wrong with enjoying love or
Right.
the pleasure you get from eating chocolate. You don't have to belittle it to just the chemical occurrence that's going on in your brain.
Well, I mean, like Sam
So
Harris said that as well. Like, just because we understand the chemical constituents of love doesn't mean we value it any less. It just means we understand the chemical constituents of it and we understand how it works. Does that really take away the feeling of it? No, it fucking doesn't. But people seem to think that because we want to figure out what something is,
trying to
we're
take
just
away the beauty
reducing
of
it.
it.
We're reducing
Yeah.
it. And it's like, are
Honestly,
you kidding me? Like, we're adding to the beauty. This is such complicated shit. We can't even
yes.
understand
Yes.
it fully.
Exactly. Like, I wish people could for like 10 seconds view the mind or view the world as we view it. Like it is tenfold more extraordinary and magnificent and marvelous and just I don't it, understanding things only adds to it for sure. It's
Mhm.
like, learning that the carbon that makes up part of your body, it was born from the death of a star. How is that not fucking beautiful?
Because
Like,
people can't wrap their head around that shit, because you need to do a little bit of digging. You need to have you have to have an understanding of biology. You have to have a basic understanding of chemistry. You have to have a basic understanding of physics, and you have to understand how all these things interact to produce the things that are in the world right now. And if you don't have a little bit of an idea of, like, say, the theory of relativity, or like how physics works and how atoms works, and atoms create certain things, and those certain things have manifested themselves in cells, and those cells have manifested themselves in living organisms, and like there's DNA, and from DNA everything on the fucking planet that is alive is made of that shit, because it's just multiplied, and different environments have caused different variations in that genetic code to produce all the variation we see around us. Like, you have to understand that that shit doesn't settle well with people, not only because they don't like feeling like they're a part of something bigger. They want to think that they're the most special fucking thing on the planet.
yes, it's very, I think religion is definitely very egocentrical. Like, you really think that everything was made for you, that you're so fucking special, that it's for you. The
Mhm.
universe and everything in existence is for you. It's like the humility of being an atheist is definitely often overlooked. And
Mhm.
even when it comes to death, like, do you really think I wouldn't want to believe that there is a place where I'm going to see my son or Brady or you
Mhm.
again after we pass? Like, do you really
No, I
think that
want
if I had
you.
to choose, I wouldn't be like, hell yeah, I want to see fucking Amy's face?
Yeah, I want to fucking party when I'm dead. Are you shitting me? No responsibilities, no fucking bills. I can hang out in a toga all day, or naked, or whatever I
Exactly.
want. Hell yeah, let's do this. But no. Like, it's so weird. People have such weird ideas. Oh my God, I'm going to die. There's going to be this staircase, this like escalator that magically pops out of the sky. I'm going to climb that shit. There's going to be these pearly ass gates. And then there's going to be like a check-in concierge service where I can be like, hey, yo, what's up? I'm here. And then what? They're just going to let you in? No, there's
Yeah.
going to be like you're going to sit there, and God's going to go through the like DVD of your life and be like, here, let's talk about all the shit you've done and see where you're going to end up. Like,
Oh my God.
come on. Like,
Like,
it's so
even
crazy.
even if it was even if it was real, it's like, is God really the man to judge me? I'm sorry, but is cancer not a thing? Is starvation
First of
not a
all,
thing?
God created man, okay? You're the one that created the fuck ups in the first place, you dumb fuck. And now you're going to judge me? You're judging your own bullshit. Send yourself to hell, you fuck. Don't send me to hell. You're the one who made me.
Exactly. That's
It
that's
just,
like the one answer or the one question I refuse to answer because I might be blunt, but I'm blunt with consideration, I guess is the way to put it. Like,
yeah.
I okay, like my best friend Elisa, I have a
Mhm.
coworker at work that's like the sweetest person to me despite me being an atheist. Like, a lot of people get turned off by me being an atheist. They're like, "Oh, okay, you're secretly evil." And obviously I eat babies for dinner.
Mhm.
So I
Me
tend
too. They're so good. Their little toes.
and
Ugh.
I try to be a bit more considerate with them, like that whole, if he was real,
Mhm.
how would I react? And I tell them, my hairstylist is a very awesome Christian. If all Christians were like my hairstylist, this would be a beautiful place.
Mhm.
But God is real, I'm gonna tell him that he should fucking go to hell himself because he's the worst.
Hmm.
That's where like I guess I draw the line, just because I don't want to insult someone that badly.
Hmm.
But I don't know. That's just me. I maybe if I didn't have a son, I would be harsher. But I'm trying to, set an example, and you respect people unless they're trying to hurt you or someone else.
Yeah,
And
it's really hard. I find that like you've actually made me think about that because I mean I'm alone, right now. I don't give a fuck. For me, it's much easier to be like, fuck you, get the fuck out of my face. I don't care for your shit. You're an idiot. I don't believe what you say. Like,
imagine having an Amy Jr. Would you say that?
no, I couldn't. I don't think I could. It'd be very difficult
Yeah,
because you want your child to be able to function in the world, and unfortunately, religion and religious thinking is still a very prevalent cancer in our society. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
it's hard. You do have to. I don't have to respect people's ideas, that's for sure. And they always say, right, the three things you should never talk about at the dinner table or at work or in serious settings are
yeah.
politics, religion, and sex. And those are three things I'm always up to talk about. I'm like, fuck, I want to talk about those things, but that's not appropriate in like a
That's
regular
why when you
social
find
setting.
someone that it is, it's like they're either going to be your best friend or your fucking husband.
Mhm. Yeah, man.
And I'm
I
already
don't know.
taken, so I can't marry you.
No. I told you not to break my heart. Remind me of that. Fucking rude, man.
Oh.
So, I mean, so yeah,
Um,
he's asked you about heaven. Has he asked you about hell? Have you had to talk to him about hell as well? Your
yeah, and I
son?
actually made him cry because I actually made him cry, and Brady reprimanded me, I guess, because
Oh
I flat
no.
out told him flat out said, according to your religion, me and Brady are going to hell.
Yeah.
And he
Oh.
balled up crying, and I was just kind of like, well,
Mhm.
maybe that was too harsh.
I feel like
um,
this is gonna sound mean, but I feel like that was the correct reaction because that is exactly
well,
what the fucking religion says, right? And then you really think about it. Do you
yeah,
want your parents to go to hell? No, that is a cause for concern
and there
for a
and then
9-year-old.
it's like, yes, and I asked him, I was like, good person, and do you think Brady is a good person? He says yes. I was like, so do you think we deserve to go to hell? And he said no. I was like,
Mhm.
well, based on what you're choosing to believe, it doesn't matter
Mhm.
that we're good people. We don't believe or worship your God, so therefore that's
Mhm.
where we would be going if it's real.
Right. Mhm.
And yeah, that definitely didn't sit right with him. That hurt
No,
him
of
to
course
his
not.
soul.
It wouldn't sit well with any thinking fucking person. But that's the problem. These things aren't actually extensively explained. You go to church, right? And you have someone standing up front at the pulpit just saying a bunch of fluff.
See, Pentecostal religion,
Oh, Pentecostal.
that
I don't know
is
about
one
that.
religion for sure. Where they don't sugarcoat crap. I've watched videos of like movies where it was depicting, I guess, their best hell that they could, and it was terrifying. I have nightmares. I think I have a warm phobia from watching a man's face being eaten by maggots and having like maggots coming out of his eyes. I watched this as a child.
Are you fucking
So
kidding me?
I wish I was. It was
How do they think this shit
terrifying
is
about how,
okay? Yet they'll be like, oh my
yeah,
God, I can't believe they're showing kissing on television. Sexuality is rampant in society. Blah. Like all this
yeah.
dumb shit.
Pentecostal is the one where I wasn't allowed to watch Disney movies. I wasn't allowed to watch any cartoons that weren't religious.
What?
Like the story of Jonah and the well, like I don't know, all the Bible stories. Those are the movies I got to watch as a child.
So
Unless
you were obviously
my
allowed to watch VeggieTales, right? You remember
do
VeggieTales?
I? Yes, VeggieTales,
You remember?
fucking VeggieTales.
Oh
Fucking
man.
now you know what? I think that's why I hate vegetables. Now that you mention it, now that you brought it from my subconscious to my conscious, you
Hey,
know I fucking
don't
hate
even.
vegetables.
You know what? That could be it. Did your parents actually make you watch that shit?
Yes. Oh yeah, I watched all the VeggieTales that you
Oh
can
my
think of. I
God.
watched
What if
stupid
that's
cartoons.
true?
Um Brady learned the hard way. I am very just not American because I lost out on so much. I couldn't
Oh
listen
my.
to they called it in Spanish, it was mundana, which is of the earth.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't watch movies, listen to music that were of the earth, like not heavenly, not godlike or Christian like or whatever. I couldn't listen to any music. The only music I ever got to listen to was sneaking around like with in the basement. I used to go to the basement and practice rollerblading. I think I told you that when I saw
Yeah.
you with your skates. I don't know.
Yeah.
And I had this little God, it's in the 90s. I had like this little clip thing that you used to put a
Mm-hmm.
little like square thing and it had like a clip of a song. That's all I got, a clip of I'm coming down, so you better get this party started.
Yeah.
I'm coming down. That's like the fucking only song I ever heard as a child because I
Yeah.
had that little clip thing. And at school, like on my way to school on the bus, there would be obviously hip hop playing or something. I
Mm-hmm.
heard Hotel California 1,000 times on the bus.
Mm-hmm.
And I got to watch Disney
Living up
movies.
in the Hotel California.
Yeah, that one.
Okay. Yeah.
And and any movies that the school showed, whether Disney or otherwise, like How to Kill a Mockingbird, um,
Mm-hmm.
that was the extent of the outside world that I got because I couldn't have. This is how horrible this Pentecostal religion is. I
Hmm.
My mom hated the fact. Thankfully, my dad is Catholic, which
Mm-hmm. Wow.
I don't know if
Wait,
it's.
so your mom and dad are together, but they're from different sects of the religion.
Yes, and it
Isn't
wasn't pleasant. It wasn't pleasant. They would sometimes like physically fight in front of their children. Like punches in the air and everything, rolling on the ground, punching each other type of thing. Um,
what?
I know. I mean, such great Christians they were.
Dude, what? What?
I
Oh, we're gonna have to do
know.
this again, and you're gonna have to tell me about like growing up in that household, man, because that sounds fucking crazy. Holy shit.
Oh God,
Oh
my
man, like I don't
childhood was a
understand how
nightmare.
oh
You know,
no, I'm stressing out.
um, so my dad wasn't as like strict because I get Catholics are not as strict as Pentecostals. I mean, I don't know any other religion that's as strict. Maybe it's the Christian equivalent of Muslims, I guess. I don't know. Like I wasn't allowed to wear pants. I wasn't allowed to cut my hair. I wasn't allowed to wear earrings. The only reason I had my ears pierced was because my biological mother pierced them before she gave me up to my dad.
Wait, what do you mean you weren't allowed to wear pants? What the fuck does that mean?
I could only wear skirts all the way to my ankles.
Oh, dude, weird, man. Well, I mean,
I know,
Islam
and
is pretty much just copied out of what was it? Was it the Old Testament or the Old Testament, right?
yeah, Old Testament. It would have to be the Old
Yeah, yeah,
Testament because
yeah. Right, duh.
and God, anything fun, it was like forbidden. Like Pokemon was a huge thing in the 90s too, and I would have Pokemon cards, thankfully, because my dad would at sometimes stand up for me. As horrible as he was, he would
Mm.
stand up for me sometimes and be like, she can fucking have Pokemon cards. Because my mom would try to tell me at church, they had this whole like what was it, like service, and then like
Mhm.
the preacher was going on about Pokemon cards and how in the news there was apparently a Charizard that came to life and killed a little girl. And you hear
Mhm.
this as a little girl and you're like, holy shit. Like, oh my God, is that gonna happen to me?
Oh my gosh.
So
No, what's it like in
yeah,
Oklahoma? Tell me what it's like in Oklahoma. Like do people push it on you? Do you have people handing out pamphlets? Like what's going on over there?
I like outside of like stores and stuff every now and then it's really not that pushed upon us. But I am very, very antisocial. Like I don't go out. My
Mhm.
groceries, I order them online so that all I have to do is show up to Walmart and they put them in the back of my car and that's
Mhm.
it.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm really not very social, so I don't I can't think of religion being pushed on me actually. The only experience I really do have is I'm afraid of telling people that I work with or that I go to school with or
Mhm.
I interact with at all that I'm atheist. Like they try to, um, you know what happened in Brady. People try to say, my husband became unsuspectingly and unforeseenly paralyzed for a reason yet to be
Oh,
known.
because he doesn't believe in God?
I've gotten that, and I've gotten and it's
Wow,
not
people are
well.
assholes.
It wasn't like in an asshole way. It was like, well,
Yeah.
God is doing this so that he can find his way to him.
Diani, the fact that you don't see that as an asshole thing to say to somebody is fucking awful. I'm so giving you shit
But
about
you
that.
know
Come
what?
on.
It's not that I don't. I get pissed, but Brady is the one that says, people mean that with the best intentions. And I'm like, fuck those people.
Yeah. Yeah, that's so fucked, man.
So he like
Oh, it's
convinces me
okay. You got
to.
into an accident and God wanted that to happen. Get the fuck. God's an asshole, man.
Well,
How are you
saying
okay
God's an
with that?
asshole is giving
If
him.
I listen to me, if I came up to Brady and I like cut his fucking his legs off at the kneecaps and was like, I did that because there's a reason for that, and you'll find out later. Are you fucking kidding me? People would fucking look
Oh
for me
no,
and kill me.
you know what's worse? You know what's worse is going up and like destroying his spine so he's paralyzed and then saying, "You didn't love me, so maybe this will help you love me."
Oh no.
But Brady's the one that's like convinced me to be more optimistic about it, I guess.
Mhm.
Like give people the benefit of the
Yeah,
doubt
but
and
that's no, I'm not okay with that, man. That's mental gymnastics. If you think that someone who does bad things to somebody, fuck that shit. Fuck Brady. We're gonna fight. Oh man,
like
I get it. I understand like that it's better to put a positive spin on it because you have to like coexist with these people and that's just the kind of shit that they're going to say, but that just would not sit well with me. And I
oh,
get
and it
that he
doesn't.
I know, and I get
And it
that he
doesn't.
also just has to deal with it cuz like the issue itself is already it's already weighing on him because he has his own shit to deal with. So it makes sense to just fucking shove it off and be like, whatever. But generally, I just don't. That is really fucked up thinking to me. I'm not okay with
I
that.
agree. And I have come home like red in the face, like this bitch at work found
Yeah.
out that you're paralyzed and said, God, just, pray and God will, he has a plan for him or
Mhm.
whatever the fuck it is that they spew. And I just like, just press my lips together. I'm just like, don't say anything. And I just nod my head and I'm like,
Oh
mm-hmm.
my god, Diani, that's the
And then I come
hardest
home.
thing.
I come home and I'm like red in the face telling Brady, like, how can they fucking say that to my face?
I
Like,
know. It's really
and
messed up
he's
because
the one that tells
Brady's
me.
right. They do think they're saying something nice to you. They do. I get
I,
that. He's right in that sense, but it's still fucked up. It's not correct. Like, see, you're very good at this. You're very good at just like sealing your lips and you're like, I have a fucking family, I have shit to deal with. I'm gonna go home because I don't want to put up with your shit. I can't do that, man. Like I just keep getting louder and more obnoxious with this shit because I'm like, fuck no, you shouldn't say that to somebody who just got into an accident or got cancer. Don't worry, God has a plan for you. I know you're suffering and you're going through chemo and your hair's falling out and you're in so
trust in
much
God.
fucking pain.
Just trust in
I
God.
know you have to take 30 fucking pills to get through a goddamn 24-hour day, but don't worry. God has a plan for you. Are you serious? What, kids with leukemia? Oh yeah, God has a plan for you.
God,
Why is God
that
making
fucks
a
up with me.
4-year-old suffer in the first place? Like, oh
Yes, that
God. Dude, my
that
brain
fucks with
wants
me.
to explode thinking about that shit. And they think that's moral. We get our morals from religion. And then we're going to take this shit and all these fears and all this fucking doctrine and all this dumb shit that my parents taught me. And I'm going to program my kid with that bullshit. Oh
You know
my
what's funny to
God.
me? That there's even like an Old and a New Testament because that is like the living proof that if there was a God, he obviously fucked up and needed to like start over.
Mhm.
Old Testament, oops, my bad, guys. Let's start over. New Testament.
Mm.
Like, and people don't see that, because I try to say like, oh, you want to get your morals from this book? Are you sure? Are you really sure you want to do that? And you
Just
point like
Google
things.
Leviticus and tell me what you think.
Exactly. And they're like, well, he doesn't really mean it that way, or it's not in the literal sense, or it's for this, and people always justify it. And I'm just like, mm, just, do whatever helps you sleep at night, but this is what the book says. There are literally verses that say that the book is literal, that you are to take it as for its word, but you go on doing what you think will help
Yeah.
you get by.
Yo, it's like
And I've actually told Yami that. I've had to explain to Yami how religion came about. How people used to think that the sun went around the earth, that the earth was flat, and they didn't know any better. And they were,
listen to me, my friend. People, motherfuckers, still think the fucking Earth is flat.
yeah, yeah. I
Yo, you know
haven't
what the
told him
internet
that.
has done? I'm so sorry. I'm getting so worked up now. But you know what the internet has done for us? For us, the internet has revealed the pathologies that like run amok across the world, man. All
Oh
the
yeah.
fucking crazy people who believe the most fucked up shit, they're all on the internet. Go to Reddit. They have threads for
No, I'm good.
everything. Dude, I fell down the flat earth rabbit hole one day and I was just like, like I was about
I
to have a heart
can't.
attack.
I can't.
I get
Like if
worked up.
I, if I want to live a long, healthy life, I sometimes know I need a break from social media because I can't deal with everything that I see. I'm like, man, I want to live a long life. I need good health and a good heart and
I
my mind to be
know.
sane. I need a sane mind. So let's
Yo,
just stay away for a bit.
Richard Dawkins had a stroke, and what his doctor told him was that you need to stop engaging. I understand you have controversial positions, but your problem is that you've been engaging those controversial positions for so many years. The stress is actually wearing on you.
Yes,
That's why he had a
stress.
stroke. And I do understand that. I get it, but it's like there's some things that I just find so very difficult. I mean, it doesn't affect me in my everyday life, right? I'm fine, but when I start talking about it, I'm just I'm just flabbergasted and absolutely taken by the sheer stupidity that humanity can create or that comes out
Oh
of
yeah.
humanity. Like it's innate in us, right? We can't even fucking help it. Just because and this is the other fucked up thing, just because someone is an atheist does not mean that that's it. They're fucking smart about everything. No, buddy,
Exactly.
you got one fucking thing right. That's it. Being an atheist doesn't mean you're logical about every other fucking thing.
You know
I
what though?
mean,
I was ignorant in that way. Brady and you helped me kind of work out of that because I used to think like, okay, this person obviously knows how how things work, has common sense enough to know this, and obviously enough logic to know this, and then especially Brady, and then with everything that's happened with you, it definitely opened my eyes that atheism is sometimes really just as bad as a religion itself with certain people, and it's ridiculous and it's just sad and disappointing. Like it's like having a little bit of hope, like okay,
mhm,
some people are getting it, some people are using their brain, and then
mhm,
you follow further into that and you're like, oh shit, never mind.
mhm.
And it's disappointing. um
Yeah. Well, because I mean, any situation that elicits emotions obviously fucks up your cognition. And like emotion and cognition are two sides of the same coin. You know what I mean? They work hand in hand. One cannot work without the other. I think like people have this really fucked up idea that just because you're rational, you're not emotional. And that's a false premise because everything operates based on emotions to some degree. It's difficult to make decisions without emotions involved. When the emotional centers of your brain are not working properly, it actually gets much, much more difficult to make a decision. And they've done these tests in the lab. And I saw there's this scientist and author that I really like. His name is Jonathan Haidt. And he talks about this in this book that I read called The Happiness Hypothesis. And that's where I learned that all reasoning is motivated. That's why there is so much of this like people will actually we've talked about this recently, where people look for things to justify their emotions, or they fucking create things they think are happening based on their
Oh,
emotions
yeah.
to for them to feel like this is actually what's happening.
Yeah.
And it's
And
not true, right? And that works across all walks of life for everything. I mean, we don't want to be wrong. We want to be correct. I
see,
don't care about being correct. I care about sorting out what the fuck the truth is. And like
exactly.
even I get caught up with my emotions though. I'm not going to
Yes.
deny that. I absolutely do. But I try for the most part not to twist fucking reality to
Yeah, to
suit my
conform to your
emotions.
ways. Yeah.
Right.
And that's another thing that's kind of difficult to explain to a 9-year-old.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, he'll learn. You know, he'll learn, but it's
I had this whole phase of only eating organic, like spending a shit ton of money because it had to be organic, or cage free and grass fed and all that stuff because I didn't learn about GMOs. And I just took him for the scary sounding word that it was, and I was an atheist, I was an engineer student. And so I look back and I'm just like, what the fuck? But then I decided to look into it, to look at the facts, not people's opinions, not anything else, just the facts. And fuck yeah, GMOs
mhm,
rock.
mhm.
um, but speaking about not wanting to be wrong, I feel like a lot of parents fail in that way, because I feel like once you bring life into this world, you birth a child, you have like, or from what I've observed, especially with my own parents and
Mhm.
other parent figures or friends' parents or whatever, they have this sense of, I fucking know everything and you know nothing. Don't question me. Do as I say. I know what's best.
That was my parents. My
And that's most
parents
parents.
were, yeah, my parents were the greatest example for me of what not to do. And honestly, even though I don't have children, I don't, and I give zero fucks about this. I'm very judgy about how people take care of their kids. I'm very judgy, and I give
And
zero
you
fucks because,
should. You should. Because that
but you
that
know
kid
what?
is gonna grow up.
Yeah, and there are objectively bad things when you see people out in public parenting, and there are objectively good things that has nothing to fucking do with whether I have a child or not. If I see a behavior exhibited by a parent, it's pretty obvious sometimes whether what they're doing they should do or should not do. I mean, if your kid is crying and your first thought is, let's go to McDonald's and get them some fucking fries to shut them the fuck up, obviously don't do that, because that's a trickery of the reward system. But people don't have that kind of
Yeah.
information, nor will they
Yeah.
incorporate it in their parenting, because they can't be fucking bothered. You know what I mean? Like, I'm sorry, I give a shit about how human development works, and you know what, you have to kind of have an idea of psychology in order to be able to make those kind of calls. You can't give in to your children sometimes. Like, parents are too, what I've seen in public, okay, this is anecdotal, but I've seen this. Parents will just do whatever they can to shut up the crying. You have to just let your fucking kid cry sometimes. Maybe there's something
Yeah.
happening. Maybe you need to pick it up. Maybe you need to feed it. Maybe you need to
Take
change
the
it. And
effort.
maybe
Like
it's
put some
colicky.
effort.
Yes, but like the thing is, you know how you sit down and you actually talk to your child? Like you sit down and you talk to your child about the things that he has concerns about and questions that he has. My parents did not do that. My parents didn't sit down and talk to me about puberty, about sex, about fucking
And most
any
parents
of the,
don't.
yeah, any
Most
of the
parents
important
don't.
shit. Boyfriends and girlfriends, how to talk to your friends, how to treat people, like
Fucking budgeting. My son knows budgeting.
budgeting. Like, my parents didn't teach me that shit at all. Like, I was basically thrown out when I was 14 and I had to figure it the fuck out on my own. And it was like, okay, well, that's great. Thanks, mom and dad. Like, my own mother couldn't even talk to me about like female shit. Are you fucking kidding me? You
Oh
know
my
how
God.
terrifying that is? Like, I would never, ever let my daughter go out without knowing that, because she could be out and that shit could happen to her between the ages of 9 and 13. And then when
Yeah.
she's gonna come home crying, thinking that she like a dead baby is flowing out of her, like what? They don't know what's happening. You have to talk to them if they have questions. Like, your parents are supposed to be people that you can go to for guidance and talk to. They're supposed to be
But
people you can depend on for knowledge about the world, but they're so caught up in their own shit. And
it's almost like a
honestly,
power trip. It's almost like a power trip. Like they forget that this child is gonna grow up and be independent of them. They have to be independent of them, and they have to
yeah,
function in society, and they have to hopefully contribute back to society, and they are gonna ultimately affect their environment and the people around them.
right.
And they lose. I feel like a lot of parents don't even recognize those facts,
But
or
I personally, in my heart, don't even think that a lot of people who had children were actually fucking ready to take on the monumental task of growing a child, not only growing a child within them, but of actually developing them into the kind of human that can successfully maneuver themselves through the fucking real world. I don't think people were ready. I don't think people understand how much of a fucking job it is, how important it is
yeah,
how you talk
it's
to your
very
child,
important. It's
the
a
things,
huge responsibility.
the things you have in your home, the people that you take them around, like all that shit matters. Their brains are sponges when they're babies. They're fucking absorbing everything. And like you're not even imparting knowledge on them that they may need, that like, it's just, I don't know, man. Like that shit is,
Yeah.
it's hard. I'm not saying you need to like coddle your child and shit. Like the
Don't get me wrong. I mean, I love my son knows I love him. He knows that.
Mhm,
I'm also his friend though, but he knows I'm his mother first, and he knows what my duties are as a mother. But he never for 1 second doubts that I love him. No matter how blunt or harsh it may seem sometimes that what I say, he knows, and he's even thanked me for being the type of mother I am.
mhm.
Like um you know how one of the first
Dude, I'm
conversations.
at a point where I thank my friends who are parents who talk to their kids. Because you know what I say to them? I'm like, listen, man, like when I see you talk to your children, it really makes me happy on the inside because my parents did not talk to me. And like my life was rough, man. And I'm so thankful that you're sitting there and taking the time and being a parent. I mean, you can't be 100% prepared for what's going to come when you have a
Obviously
child,
not.
but
No.
trying your best should entail more than you just trying to shut your kid the fuck up when they're being loud or crying or have a problem or whatever. Like it's not about when things are good. And this applies across the board. It's not how you behave or how you act when things are good. It's how you maneuver through the challenging and difficult situations in your life. And parenting is one of those things. It's how you deal with the difficult aspects of being a parent.
Yes, like my son has obviously lied to me, and I didn't just punish him and that's that. You don't lie to me, period. I
Mhm.
sat down with him and I told him this is why honesty is very important. I explained to him the workings of trust and what kind of world and relationship he would have if all people were dishonest. And I told him
Mhm.
why lying really hurts someone that you're supposed to care about and that they care about you. And, I went on and on about why I don't just say, don't lie to me, period. I fucking hate that. Um,
Mhm.
like one of the first things that we had to talk, obviously that almost every parent has to talk with their kid is stranger danger, you know.
Mhm.
And oh my God. We told him, we were straight up, people want to take you. Some people out there are very bad people and they're going to want to take you. They're going to try to trick you with puppies, with candy, with ice cream, whatever. You do not
Mhm.
talk to anyone that you
Mhm.
don't know. Okay, even if they say, "Oh, but your mom sent me." No. And it's not just that. You don't just leave it at that. Pretty.
Mhm.
I don't know yet that I'm 100% okay with the way he put it, but he said they're gonna touch your butthole.
Oh my God.
And that definitely made an impact on my son. I could see it on his face. He was like,
Mhm.
"What?"
No.
And I went with
Like,
it. I
I
went
think
with it.
any child would be terrified if they were told that someone's gonna touch their butthole.
And he was like, "Why? Why my butthole?"
Yeah, why my butthole, mom? I don't know, honey. People are fucked up. Just stay away and keep your pants
That
up.
that's pretty that's pretty much what I said. I was like, there's just really bad people out there, very disturbed people. And he's 9, and the other day, like maybe a month ago, last month, I think I was cramping. Oh, I was cramping really bad. I don't
Mm-hmm.
cramp often, so he doesn't see it often. But I was laying in bed in like the fucking fetal position, just in so much pain. And
Mm-hmm.
he asked me, he was like, "What's wrong?" I was like, I didn't shoo him off. Like I feel like most parents be like, "Oh, it's nothing, it's nothing, it's a woman thing," and just leave it at that.
Mm-hmm.
No, period. And he was like, "What's that?"
Mm-hmm.
And I had to explain to him the workings of a woman, showed him Google images of a cervix and that kind of stuff. And then
Yeah.
I told him that my egg was dropping, and then since there was no
But good for you,
fertilization,
because that's not shit that he should be freaked out about, because he's gonna have a girlfriend and a wife, and he's gonna have to put up with that shit too.
yeah,
Like, you think that, like,
even if he has casual sex, he needs to be aware that I mean,
yes, yes.
I told him some people, because obviously the egg and the the getting rid of the lining because it wasn't fertilized led to the fertilization, which led to sperm, which led to babies, which led to sex. So we sat
Mm-hmm.
there talking for a while I'm cramping, mind you, talking about
Mm-hmm.
this. And yeah, so I got to that and I said some people want it to be special, and
Mm-hmm.
that's okay. If they
Mm-hmm.
want to wait until they think they're in love and they found the one and they're married, that's perfectly okay. I was like, and then there's some people that don't really care if they're married or not. I was like, the only thing is I really wish you would do it when you're older, obviously, safely, first of all. And I explained to him STDs, HIV, pregnancy, and all that.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, and do it with someone that you're not gonna regret. Even
Mm-hmm.
if you and that person never see each other again, or it doesn't work out and your relationship falls apart, I wouldn't want you to regret it. So I
Yeah,
wouldn't
okay.
want you to just do it freely like a lot of people do. I was like, but if you do, it's your body and as long as you're safe, I really can't do anything about it. I was like, some
Mm-hmm.
people do that, and if they're okay with that, that's fine. But I mean, I feel like a lot of parents have a hard time talking about this stuff, and I don't understand why, because it's so crucial. It's so
Because, dude,
important.
there's a hang up in society about sex. Like, Jesus Christ, we all do it. We all want to do it. What the fuck is the shame? It's because, again, like, this is a this is a prevalent attitude in society because of the religious roots from which we come. You know what I mean? It's disgusting, it's
Yes,
dirty, it's not pure.
God.
You have to remain pure, blah blah blah. Like, they religion is against nature. That's the problem. You know what I mean? Or it
Yeah.
hijacks nature for a negative purpose.
Yeah, I even talked to him about actually today we talked about abortions. I don't remember why.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
they just, these conversations come up, and when he asked me something, I told him I will always tell you the truth, and if it's
Mhm.
beyond your years, I will tell you I can't discuss that with you yet. You're not old enough to understand these things.
But
I
it doesn't sound like there's anything you haven't discussed with him thus far.
Yeah, I don't think I mean, he knows about rape even.
Wow.
Yeah, he
How did he
because
handle that? How did he handle that?
He made a face and he was like he was upset about it, like that people would do that. But it came with the discussion of abortion, and he asked me, he's like, "Would you, what
Oh,
if you would have aborted me?" And I
mhm.
said, "Well, to begin with, I wanted to, but
Yeah,
if I
yeah.
would have aborted you, it would have been my choice, and you
Hmm.
wouldn't be existing right now. I wouldn't know you as you are now, and you wouldn't be conscious
Hmm.
that and be aware of your termination."
Hmm.
So he took that for what it was. There was really no reaction to that one, but I with abortion came the discussion of rape, and I had to explain
Hmm.
what rape was, and I didn't I made sure to say, a person, because God, I know rape, I think even in the Webster dictionary is like mostly women oriented, and I'm like, no, men can get raped too.
Hmm.
Um, and so I explained rape to him, and
In the butthole. That's
he
why you have to tell him to protect his butthole.
well, I mean, if he was drunk and a sober woman wanted to have sex with him, that's still not cool, even though it was penile.
Hmm. Yeah, 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 yeah.
God, I even talked to him about veganism. How I don't.
No, you said the V word.
Yes, I was like, I do believe that if you can't handle the death of an animal, that you have no business eating meat because that's hypocritical. And I showed him, I was like, "Are you ready to see what I'm talking about?" And he watched a cow get beheaded, and then he ate.
Yeah, yeah.
It didn't. I mean, he obviously he's not going to sit and watch videos of animal beheadings or killings, but he saw
Oh
it,
God, yeah.
and I asked
Hmm.
him. I asked him, "Are you meat?" And he said, "Yes." So
Sorry, it cut out.
I after I showed him the cow's throat being slit,
Oh yeah,
I asked him if he was still okay with eating meat and byproduct, and he said that yeah, it was fine, that he was okay
yeah.
with it.
Damn, dude, your kid's
Um,
a gangster. You're a fucking gangster, man. Because no parents would show their 9-year-old kid that shit. But like, I think it really depends too.
well,
Because there are, you know how like there's some people who are mature for their age. Like some people can grasp certain concepts at that age. Some kids are smart, and they have the internet now. And like, it is kind of scary because like the idea that I have in my mind now is if they are able to use a computer, there's nothing they don't have access to. So, I mean, it
exactly.
seems like with this information age and with the ease of access to information, it's a good thing to kind of prepare them for what they might see and the realities of things because it
Yeah,
is what it is, right? Like the sooner you expose them to this, if you feel that they're capable of being exposed to it, the better it really is for them. Because like
definitely.
me personally, when it comes to the meat situation, like I know what they do to animals, and you know what, like fuck you, I like my chicken, I like my meat, I like that shit. I go to the gym. I can't live on a fucking vegan diet. Like I just can't do it. I've been vegan for 6 months. Like there's always this I people I'm someone who's, this is probably not good information to give out, but whatever, not many people are going to listen probably. But I I'm easily guilted into things, right? I used to be, especially a lot more, and I got a little emotionally guilted into trying being a. First, I tried being a vegetarian, then I went to being a vegan, and I got to tell you, I lost a lot of
Yuck.
weight, but I was fucking miserable, dude. I couldn't eat a pizza. I couldn't eat no chicken legs. Like I couldn't eat chicken, a
Did
chicken
you
burger.
ever try like imitation cheese or imitation chicken or any imitation shit
I,
like
I've
that?
I've tried the fake cheese, and it's not bad now. But back when I tried being a vegan, which was like 2006 now, I think 2006, 2007, for like 6 months was all I could last. No, just no. It wasn't the same shit, man. It tasted like plastic. It didn't melt properly. It wasn't gooey. Like it's just not the same shit. It's
Mhm.
life.
And my thing is, if you don't want to eat animals, why are you trying so hard to make animal imitation products? I mean,
Isn't it weird?
either like if you
It's
don't
so
want
weird.
milk or cheese or meat, why are you trying to make fake milk and fake cheese and fake meat? I mean, if you want to be a vegan, just fucking stick to your nuts and trees. I mean, not trees, plants. I don't know. I
Yeah.
fucking hate
Um,
vegetables, fucking
Well,
vegetables.
the weird thing now is that people are trying to say that, yeah, your body it's not necessary for your body to have meat protein. And I'm like, do you have any fucking idea where we came from? Like,
Like,
are
do
you
you
people
know where our
stupid?
brain would be without fucking the protein that we got from animal products? Our brain definitely would not be at the capacity that it is right now.
Yeah. No, and I just think it's really crazy how there's just denial going everywhere because people are just so wrapped up in their ideologies. Everything is a fucking ideology now.
Oh God.
Veganism, racism, blah blah blah, ism. Like it's just an endless list of isms, and it's like shut
Oh,
the fuck up.
your favorite, all the different genders and all that.
Oh yeah, I love that. I love that shit. Listen to me right now. No, my least favorite. actually my favorite one, let's say sarcastically, heavy sarcasm, is racism right now. Because you know what? Like, there's
Oh
this guy on
God.
Instagram right now who has blocked me, right? Because we tried to have a conversation. I dropped links in the DMs. He fucking bitched out and blocked me. And you know what he's doing now? He's going under other people we mutually follow's posts. If it's anything regarding BLM or anything regarding slavery or anything, he's calling me names and he's talking shit. And it's like, you fucking bitch ass cunt. Why don't you unblock me and have a discussion like a man? You're going under other people, and people are messaging me. They're like, this guy is sending me screenshots of like what you guys said, and I'm with you. And I'm like, listen, I'm not here to baby fucking blacks right now. I don't give a fuck. You guys need to get over slavery. Shut the fuck up. It's 2017. Like, this is the bigotry of low expectations. Get the fuck over it. Is there slavery in 2017? No, right? So get your shit together and let's fucking move along right now, because we're trying to move forward and you motherfuckers are killing everybody. So don't come to me and tell me I'm a racist because I don't want to treat you like you're a fucking 3-year-old. How about that? I hate that shit. It's driving me crazy. So you're going to go slander my character and you're going to go talk on under other people's posts while you have me blocked like a little bitch, and you're going to call me a racist fucking twat. And it's just ridiculous. And like, I had to apologize
on white people, the hate that these people have on white people. You can't label that racism. Have you heard that one? That's not racism.
Yeah,
when you
you
like
can't do that.
disgustingly, just bluntly deface white people just because they're white.
Yeah, no, white people can't be racist, or white people are the only people that can be racist. Hey,
Yeah.
like, is this shit going on in your kid's school? Like, tell me what's happening at school for Yummy right now. So is he dealing with any of this gender training or bias training or anything like that?
Well, he's out for the summer, but that I know
No,
of.
but like generally, like recently, even in his last year that you just.
No, but I know that Brady at the university, he works at the university, had to go through training for proper pronouns and stuff like that, and sensitivity to gender identities.
I just want to hit my head against a wall.
Brady was like,
Seriously.
okay, a transgender woman or a transgender man, I get that. You know, if it's a transgender woman, you know, obviously don't be disrespectful and call her a him, you know. But then he's like, what is this? Is this and
Yeah, but it's a
zers
fashion
and
thing. It's a fashion thing. If a man is dressed like a woman, isn't it kind of obvious that you're to call her she? But if you're a girl dressed as a tomboy, that doesn't necessarily mean that you identify as a man. And if I misgender you, you know what you need to do? Hey, I would
just
prefer you
corrects me.
call me a he. That's it. It's that fucking simple. I do not need to go through training to like scan the environment constantly to figure out if you've got a dick or a vagina.
And you know what? Like the him and her, you know, that's fine. But then you get to this non-gender or binary crap. I can't fucking keep up. And you gotta do like Zim and Zer and Zares. And he's like, Brady was like, I've never heard that. I are they making up shit now? He's like, they're just making shit up now. I was like, pretty much. They're making like that pronoun zis, like with the ZIS. Like the hell is that? What are you? Are you an
I don't know,
alien?
but there's a list of like 70 of them.
Oh my God.
And they're pushing laws in Canada where, like, I believe small businesses or something, if they misgender someone, they can get penalized. And it's just like,
It's
there's
ridiculous.
that, there's M103, which is the Muslim bill, which if you fucking, I listened to the story today, okay, and it just boiled my blood. This Syrian refugee beat his wife with a hockey stick for a half an hour. And they detained him, and he goes, "What? Why didn't anybody tell me the laws were different? I didn't know that was against the law." Well, yeah, that's what fucking happens when you bring them to a fucking first world country where the values are different. And guess what? You're not allowed to beat your wife because this is civilization, you fuck.
Yeah.
Okay, anyways, let's get back to parenting. I'm so sorry because I'm just going to go off on this. It really emotionally perturbs me because it makes me hate all the people who are like, oh my God, solidarity, no hate. Fuck you. I'm going to hate things that are worth hating. Are you
It's
seriously
the
telling me
equivalent
not to
of
hate a death cult? Like, are you really telling me not to hate people who push these awful ideas on children and just hijack their
Yes.
minds. And then the problem is beliefs manifest as behavior. People act based on the beliefs they have in their fucking brain. That's how it works. Your subconscious is programmed from your childhood and continuously onward as you're moving through the world and learning things. And who are you around the most? You're around your parents developing the most, right?
Oh God.
And like,
Unfortunately.
dude, like, parents, right? Like, but you know what's really fucked up though? In our situations, the reason that we would make a good parent, and the reason that I feel that I would, is because our parents were shit. We saw bad parenting.
You know what? It's not just that. I mean, yeah, that can play, but it's also our take on it. You know, like Brady had an alcoholic father and a crackhead mother, and they weren't the best.
Mm-hmm.
And he is like the polar opposite to his siblings. His siblings fell in suit with what they were brought up in, you know.
Mm-hmm.
They
Mm-hmm.
followed and they continue to be what their parents were and what they
Mm-hmm.
saw around them. Somehow, I still wonder what the heck happened or how it works. He took our approach, you know, the opposite approach, like, okay, this is not what I want to be like, and made it better for himself.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like you have, you know, his siblings who had the same upbringing. They do have different fathers though. Him,
Mm-hmm.
the only one from his father, and then the other siblings.
Factor in, right?
Yeah,
So that genetic factor make it a bit different.
yeah. So I mean, same environment with the mom, but different genetic factors. So what you and I took, and we're like, okay, this is definitely not what I want for my children or for the rest of my life. Other people will fall right into it and continue. So it's insane. And Brady brings it up a lot. He's like, I am very fucking curious to see how Yummy turns out, you know, because he's like, we're doing our best, and he seems like a great kid now, but you never know where something's just gonna go wrong, and then all of a sudden they're shitheads and then dipshits, and somehow they just disappoint you.
You know what the scary thing is that when you're raising your children, for me, the one of the most terrifying things that dawned on me and was part of the reason I was like, I'm never having kids, is because when they start going to school, they're actually being raised by other people for that amount of time.
Yeah.
5 days a week. They're picking up ideas. They're picking up behaviors. They're picking up shit that you don't see for 8 hours a day from their teachers, from their peers, from people around them. Those people are helping raise them.
That's why church and state separation is so important, because you don't want any like those kind of beliefs to be brought up on your child without your knowing, without your approval. You know, it's so all that my child needs to be doing at school is learning his mathematics, his reading, his you know, academics. That's it. There's nothing else that my child should be learning. You know, when sex ed comes around, my son's already gonna know everything, you know.
Yeah. And he won't be like those kids who are like, ew, vagina, dick, sex, gross. Which is so good. Because you know what? Dudes who like freak out at periods, if you're like heading towards your 30s and periods still gross you out, you're a fucking loser, man. Grow up. Get the fuck over it already. Like, although, you know what? Girls can get really fucking annoying with their, oh my God, my period might be. Just shut up, too. Everybody just chill out. Let's just accept it as a regular part of life. Tampons should be taxed. They fucking create waste. They clog toilets. Like, shut up. Like, stop it.
Like when stuff that people share, that's like somebody actually asking, like, and it's like, oh my God, where is your mother so I can slap her? Have you never run across something like that where somebody commented and a guy, of course, comes by and says, well, why can't you just hold it in? I'm just saying that's a please for the sake of my joke.
Yeah. I lost you a little bit. You were just cutting out. Where are you?
I'm right here.
Okay, that's better. I was just cutting out. I was glitching a little bit. You were in and out of the matrix. Don't leave me! Oh my God. Are you feeling better? You were saying you were a little bit nervous, but you've been doing great. This has been a great conversation so far.
Yeah, I've kind of been just talking to you.
Good.
Just
Well, this is just
focusing
kind of
on
like,
talking to you.
this is how we are.
Very awkward naturally and very antisocial
But you're
and just
not awkward though. You're very natural with me.
sometimes. Sometimes I'm so awkward that Brady's like, is that how it is
You're
every
fucking
time?
hilarious, man. When you like called me from a car that one time after you ate
Oh
that
my
apple.
God. Oh my God.
Hear me? I gotta go inside and get this food. 20 minutes later, okay, I really gotta go inside and get this food. I was like, oh man.
My favorite, and I can't believe I said it, is I'm just afraid that you're gonna realize who I am and decide that you don't like me. And Brady knows who I am, but he's married to me and you're not.
No, basically am.
I remember
in,
that.
in friendship.
I
Oh
remember
my
that so
goodness.
vividly. I can't believe I said that.
You're so funny. Here's another crazy question for you. So what is Yemi's dad likes? Do you have any concerns when he goes and hangs out? I'm sure you don't, but I mean like,
No,
do
I
you
definitely
really?
do. His dad is Catholic, and his stepmom, who's been in his life since he was like
Mhm.
2, is Catholic as
Mhm.
well, more so than his dad. Um, I've never really had an issue. I guess okay, two big issues. Apparently he prays like before he eats his food, and he prays,
Like Grace? They say Grace?
yeah, and he like prays
Mhm.
before going to bed. And it's not that that
Mhm.
in itself is an issue, it's that he doesn't do it over here. So I either feel like he's pretending to be something over there, or it's either or. He's pretending to be
Mhm.
something else over there, or he's
Mhm.
not being himself over here. And that bothers me. I want him to be himself 100% with us, or
Mhm.
never have to pretend to be something else to please his dad or his stepmom over there.
Mhm.
And he has, I mean, I've told them this and I discussed this with him. And I told him, I want you to not worry about what I believe and what Brady believes. And I want you to be yourself. And if you want to pray before you eat your food or before you go to bed, I will totally respect that. Just please be yourself. You know,
Mhm.
don't try to be someone else to please me or your father. You know,
Mhm.
um, and as far as I know, he's still praying over there and he doesn't pray over here. So I don't know. Maybe he's okay with that. Maybe that is who he is. You know, he prays around his dad because he feels comfortable and he's just okay with not praying here. I'm not sure.
Mhm.
Um,
I have an interesting anecdote here. Like I don't know if I ever told you, but I became really good friends with the mailman at work, and him and his wife invited me over for dinner one night, and they're very Christian. And I went over there, and they're so fucking nice, man. They're really nice people. They really just care about me, and like he worries about me. He's like, "Are you okay? Like, I know you're all alone." And I'm like, "Oh fuck, don't take pity on me because I'm alone. Like that's my strength, okay? Not a weakness." But like we sat at the dinner table and they put their hands up, right? For saying grace. And I was just like, so I did it with them. Cause he knows like anytime I mentioned like he would come to work every morning and I would say, like, "Oh my God." He's like, "Don't take the Lord's name in vain." And I was like, fuck that. And he gave me a look, right? Because he was not happy with that. And he's like in his 50s, right? So he's like old. Well, not really old, but you know what I mean. He's older. And I
Mhm.
I was just kind of like taken aback by that. I was like, what? And the next day he came back again and I said, "Oh my God." It's just something I say. I don't do it on purpose. I was like, "Oh my God." And he's like, "What did I tell you about that?" I'm like, "I'm an atheist. I don't fucking believe in God." And he was kind of like weirded out about it. And I was like, okay. And then he came in again like the next day and like I I don't know how we worked past that, but I think we just kind of let it go and didn't talk about it again and like just had the regular daily morning banter. But I did say grace with them and you know, there's nothing wrong with saying thank you for the food and stuff, but like the only thing that didn't settle well for me was like you guys are sitting here saying thank you to God and the Holy Father for your food, but you guys just busted your ass for fucking 9 hours today. And that's why you have food on the table. Out of respect, obviously. I said grace, and I thought it was really cute because they're really nice and I really, really love them. Like, they really care about me and I care about them too. But like, it's just such a fucking weird thing. You know what I mean? To like,
Yeah. But I don't know. It hasn't been that long since we had this conversation, so maybe I should bring it up with him again and see where he's at with that because I haven't noticed that he's changed. You know, he's obviously still not praying over here, but that I know of, he's still praying over there. So I don't know, maybe it's a comfort thing. Maybe he's comfortable not praying before his food and that's okay with him here. And maybe he's comfortable praying for it over there. And then
Mhm.
I don't know, maybe it's no big deal. And the other issue that I had was he had this whole makeup phase. You know, he gets allowance for doing certain chores and then he gets $5 per A, which adds up to like, I don't know, like 60, $80, I don't know. So he when he was like 7, no, yeah, 7, he had like this phase where he was really amazed and entertained by makeup. Like I was doing my makeup one day and he
Mhm.
comes up to me, he's like, "I wish you would do my makeup." And I was like, since when?" He's like, "Since I
Mhm.
was like 6." He was 8
Mhm.
because I remember thinking, "Oh my God, for 2 years you've been wanting me to do your makeup and you haven't asked." He was
Yeah.
like, "I just didn't know how you would react." And I was like, "It's no big deal. If you want me to do your makeup, it's fine."
Yeah.
And so I did his makeup and he had fun with it.
Mhm.
So then he started using money and his like grade money to like stack up on makeup. He went and bought like a cheap Walmart brand like Wet and Wild, which is very, very cheap.
Mhm.
He would watch YouTube videos. Tati's his best friend, obviously is a girl, and they would
Mhm.
like his makeup. And I told his dad, I was like, "Hey, I don't know how comfortable you are if he like wants to take this over there with you." And his dad was so upset. Like, absolutely
Mhm.
not. Like that is not okay. And I was like,
Mhm.
just realize that this is a part of who your son is, and you're forbidding him to be
Mhm.
100% himself with you.
Yeah.
And there's something that I'm gonna have that you don't. Just realize what you're doing. And he was like, "Well, it's not okay. Not in my household."
Let me fucking tell you, man. My parents tried to just fucking repress me. I wasn't allowed to do anything. I was so restricted. I couldn't see friends. I couldn't go out. Like, it was such a task for me to ask my parents to hang out with my friends like once a month. It took crying and begging, please let me go. I want their parents' numbers. I want their address. I want everything. Like, I'm going to pick you up at this time and drop you off at this time. And I want no argument. And like, I would laugh about shit. You shouldn't be laughing about that. Or I would like this. You shouldn't like that. You shouldn't like boys. You shouldn't be doing this. And I swear to fucking God, like, I honestly think it breaks you. You can't push
Yeah.
yourself down. And like, that's another thing that parents do too, is like, your child is an individual and you have to allow them to flourish as they're going to. Of course there's going to be some structure and restrictions, but you can't restrict them from liking shit and being who they are, because guess what, human beings like what they like. You
Yeah. And I
can't
feel
help
like a
what
lot
you
of
like.
a lot of parents want to form their children into like mini thems. Like, this is gonna be my mini me. He's gonna like what I like, and
Mhm.
he's gonna do what I want to do. Like, no, this is an individual person outside of you with their own mind and their own
Mhm.
personality, and you can't force them to be what you want them to be or what
Mhm.
you you wish you were. Sometimes I feel like some people do that. Like I
They
couldn't do
want to
it.
live vicariously through their
Yes.
children.
Yes.
Like those parents who like really push sports on their kids, who are
Yeah, or
like
like
real
beauty
assholes about
pageants
it. Like,
or
yeah, or
yeah.
if they lose, like they just eat mad shit. It's like, are you really yelling at a 6-year-old because like they didn't win at this fucking game one
Even
time? Like,
even
chill out, dude.
academically, like you
Yeah.
can push the importance of academics only so far before you're at the same level as a, sport parent. Like I think one of the most important jobs as a parent,
Yeah.
know that imperfections and that messing up and sometimes even failing are okay,
Mhm.
and to teach them how to come back from that. And
Dude,
and
that's so important though.
I feel
I don't know where we are not taught to deal with failure gracefully at all. And life is mainly failure.
Yeah, and we're taught like if you fail, that's like the worst thing that could happen to you, but it's
Kill
really
yourself. Just
not.
jump off a bridge. You failed.
Yeah.
Oh my God, your fucking life is over now. What are you gonna
Yeah.
do? What's the
And it
point? You're an
really shouldn't
incomplete
be
human
that
being.
way. It really shouldn't
No,
be that
not at
way.
all. You're gonna fuck up. You're gonna fuck up way more than you fucking succeed.
I fuck up, and that's another
Life is
important thing that I let Yami know. I'm like
yes.
if I get upset over something that I think that he does and I reprimand him for it, and then later I find out that
Mhm,
he didn't do it, I don't just leave it at that. I go to him
mhm,
like, look, I was wrong. You didn't actually do this, and I thought you did, and I'm so sorry. I mess up too. I know I'm an adult, but I mess up too, and I
mhm,
hope you can forgive me. And he does, you know, and
mhm.
I feel like parents also lack that humility. Like, I'm a parent, I don't have to apologize.
I
I
know
don't,
everything. Don't you understand? I've
yes, I know
experienced
fucking
life.
everything.
I'm all knowing. Motherfucker, shut
Exactly.
up. Like now that I've grown up a little bit, like I realized how fucking stupid my parents are, man. Like my parents are fucking dumb. Oh my, like some of the
If,
shit, man. Like my mom, I like I shouldn't talk shit about my
oh
mother,
man, if
but
Amy's
fuck.
parents ever listen to this, hey.
Hey, what's up, mom? Oh my God. Thanks for carrying me for 9 months and stuff. Yo, my mom is so awesome. I see her in public and she pretends like she doesn't know me. Did I tell you? Like, it was like around Christmas time because I work right across the street from Guilford Mall, which is one of the big malls here in the city. And I was walking towards one of the stores and we were in the same hallway, dude. And like, it was really fucking weird to explain what happened, but like, I saw her. We made eye contact for a split second and we ghosted each other. It was like
Oh my God.
it was fucking weird. And like on the inside, like you just there's a weird visceral feeling because that's your genes, like you just
Yeah.
know, man.
And
And
with
like
brain development and personality development, your mother is a very important part of your life as a child.
your mother when you're an infant actually helps to de-
Humanize you,
especially
pretty much.
dehumanized, but like what it is like your limbic system and your emotional systems based on how much you were held as your mother are developed because like there's an increase in serotonin when your mother is holding you, and that obviously forms the connection between your vagus nerve and your brain, the gut brain connection and stuff, and like it's so fucked.
Well, that
It's
fucking
really
scares me because
crazy.
I got like really bad postpartum depression and
Yeah, but you're good now. Like you connect with your
yeah,
kid
but
now.
yeah, but as a kid, I even got hospitalized because I tried to kill myself, and I didn't see my son for
Mhm.
like 3 months, except for like every
Oh man,
like 3 days
real
total.
man. Postpartum depression is
It,
fucking real. It's like when women get depressed after abortions, it just fucks their body up. Some
yeah,
women deal with it fine, but it really,
I
really
I think
destroys some people.
it was an accrual of, I had an abusive husband or
Oh,
partner, I had an abusive father, I had an abandonment issues because my biological mother had nothing to do with me. We're Facebook friends
check,
now,
check,
by the
check.
way.
Me too. What? Or what?
We're Facebook friends now, by the way, but it's so weird because we don't talk to each other. It's like we added each other. I think
You and your dad?
um
You and your dad, or you and your husband?
me and my biological mother.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, and she's like a beautiful woman.
Weird.
I'm like, hey, those genes are what I'm gonna
That's why
have
you're
for when
so
I'm 40.
beautiful.
Oh,
You're so beautiful too.
she aged very well, so I'm looking forward to that. But other than that, like it's weird. She's my Facebook friend, but other than that, I don't really know her. We haven't really talked.
Hmm.
Um, but I don't know. Obviously there was rape and molestations and abusive
Hmm.
households, whether it was with
Hmm.
my son's dad or with my own dad, and I feel like all that added on to make me vulnerable for
Dude,
postpartum
you're
depression
telling
and
me I
fucked
went
me up
through the
worse.
same fucking shit with depression too, like abusive dad. My biological father wanted me to be a boy because that's how it is in the Indian culture. I wasn't, and there were a few occasions my mother told me about where he wouldn't strap me into my car seat as an infant and he would brake the car really hard so I would fall out.
Oh my
Like
God.
he wanted me to die. He would just, you know, I got this from my mother too, because my mother was in 2 back-to-back abusive relationships, and she's still in the second one. And apparently they're happy and hunky-dory now, which is fine. But like, so I learned my father tried to kill me. And the fucked up thing is, as I grew up, for some reason, he just wanted to keep me around. I honestly think he just didn't want to pay the child support because he owes my mom lots of money. But he wouldn't spend time with me even when I fucking was there. And then, like, my mom, what it finally took my mom to leave him was him busting her face and her head open. Like, she had to get stitches. And get this, I didn't find this out till later, but my stepdad that she's with now used to be my dad's best friend. My dad told me this one time, like when I was like 13 or 14, when I got kicked out of my house. I had a social worker who tried to connect me back to my father because I was staying with friends and just like couch surfing and going wherever I could until I could figure out a solid situation for myself. And so my social worker contacted my father, and then my father came and picked me up. And one night he was telling me about how, Jazz, which is my stepdad's name, was my best friend.
Oh, wow. Well, my biological
Yeah.
mother and my mother are cousins. So that.
Yo.
So she's like my aunt mother somehow.
Weird.
And my brother, who is genetically my dad's father, but not genetically connected to me through my mother, is technically also like second cousin or something like that because of their whole because my biological mother and her are cousins. So I'm like, what's up, cousin brother?
Oh my God, weird.
It's our families are just, I don't know, man.
Dude, my family, like my mother, I feel bad for her, but I don't, because she's fucking stupid and she chooses. There's a certain point where if you're continuing to stay in a situation, it's your fucking fault. If you want to deal with that bullshit, if you want to put up with the abuse, that's on you now, because it's happened once, you went back. It's happened twice, you went back. It's happened 3 times or more and you're still sticking around, you're a fucking idiot. And that's it. Like, that's the environment you want to raise your kids in. Like, I've seen my mom is like 5'3" and 115 pounds. She's a little lady. I've seen her get.
Oh, she's like me almost.
Yeah, I've seen my mom get beat. Like, it's not good. And then I got the idea that being in a shitty relationship was subconsciously, that's what I knew as a relationship. So that's what I fucking got into. My first boyfriend was great. We were together for like 7 years. We were totally gonna have a future. We wanted to get married, blah, blah, blah. That didn't quite work out as we grew up, because we were together when we were 14, right? We just drifted apart. And we became totally different people by the time we moved on or moved in, and it just didn't work. But like, the relationship I fell into after that, such an asshole. Just said the worst things to me, and I just put up with it thinking it's okay, like I'll be all right, whatever. He'll learn, he'll get over it. No, that shit doesn't work, because once you let them do it, they just push a little farther and they push a little farther, and it gets really tyrannical and fucked up. So I noticed this. I'm lucky that I noticed it and saw it, because I mean, the second situation after that was not as severe, but it was still the same kind of shit, right? I'm just going to say the worst shit possible, and, oh, you're going to take me back. I'm going to crawl back and it's going to be fine, right? Like, no. If you're going to be that reckless, there's no way you can let someone continue to do that.
Amy, the very good friend picker, but the very bad.
That was one of the best things that anybody has ever said to me. And it was so funny, because that was the moment I realized. I mean, I realized you were a good friend before, but if anything solidified it, it was that comment. Because even me and Regina were sitting in the car, and you had called and we were all talking, and you said that, Amy, you're so great at picking friends. You're so bad at picking guys. Yes, that's so true. I looked at her and I'm like, can you fucking believe her? She's like, that's a good friend, Amy. That's a fucking good friend to have. And that's right. You know what? You need people in your life who can tell you you're being a fucking idiot. Like, you need that shit. You can't always check yourself, because again, we do that. I did that thing where I was justifying my emotions. You know what
But
I
I would
mean?
tell
Because
you
that's
that
how I felt.
too. I would tell you that too. I would tell you, Amy, you're
I
doing
know, but
this,
I'm
you're doing
tenacious,
that.
you know, like when it comes to relationships, I don't just want to throw it away. I really want to try. I really want to work on it because I know these things take work. It's a lifelong project. You fucking know. You've been in a long-term relationship.
Oh yeah, and it
It's not like
definitely took
it's not like
work,
it
but
magically is okay in a year and everything's
no,
perfect. You go through some
definitely
shit
not.
and you have to get in the mud together. You have to wrestle a little bit and you have to fucking work through shit. If it's getting to a point where there's like a threshold of disrespect that gets crossed, and there's a line where like there's some shit that you say that you just can't come back from anymore. You can't.
Yeah,
You
definitely.
absolutely cannot. And you know what? That really fucking sucks. I gotta tell you. I was totally like it just oh man, sometimes like my mom started doing that shit, coming back to parents. Like my mom, the reason that I finally decided to cut them off permanently and never talk to them again is because like she would just say the most obscene shit to me over and over and oh, you're gonna be a piece of shit. You're gonna be nothing. You're a fucking loser. I
Oh
can't
my
believe you didn't
God.
listen. I can't believe you left the house. Why would you do that? Why wouldn't you stay at home? If you listened to the rules of the house, we would have bought you a BMW. We would have sent you to university. We would have got you married. I'm like, that's the fucking problem, is the tyranny in that situation. You want to control fucking everything, and I don't want your shit. I would rather work at McDonald's for the rest of my life and live on my own than be controlled by you because you want to give me shit. And you want me to live life like in your image. What the fuck is this? What are you, Jesus? Fuck off. Oh my God, man.
It's
I can't.
definitely bad. I mean, my mom, God, something that I will never forget that she said. I don't even remember how the conversation came up,
Hmm.
but um she's always been very favoring of my brother, and I always had an issue with it. Obviously, she's Guatemalan and like from Guatemala, and they have like different standards over there. Like, the woman does all the cooking and the cleaning and the caretaking, and that never sat right with me, right? So I always like argued with her, like, why am I cleaning and why is my brother playing video games? That's not fair. Um, and one day on the way back from church, going home, she said, I just can't love you like I love my son. You are not from my womb, and he is. And I mean, I didn't know any other mother. That's the only mother that I knew. I mean, obviously, I knew that I had a biological mother, but she wasn't my mother to me.
Hmm.
And to hear, as much as she did the whole Christian thing, and she was abusive in her own way. She was sometimes physically abusive, but nowhere near my dad. Um,
Hmm.
which it still doesn't make it okay. I like how I just belittled that, like it's no big deal.
No, no, I know. We're just talking, right? But
um, her saying that like crushed me. God, I still can't.
yeah.
Even thinking about it right now, it like crushes my heart. It's like, how could you ever say that to a child? Especially when you know that you're the only mother figure and the only mother that they've ever known and probably will ever know. And you say that.
Danny, people are so fucked, man. The one thing, the hardest lesson that I had to learn is that it doesn't matter if they're family, if they're friends, whoever. People are gonna people. People are fucked. It doesn't matter if you're connected to them by blood. It doesn't matter if you share genes with them. Like family can be the most poisonous fucking thing to
See,
someone's
that
life.
that's
Like in
where I have a disconnect where I think family is thrown around so easily. Like, I think there's a huge difference. My son, my husband, and even you and my best friend Lisa, and you're my best friend too, and her
I love
kids,
you. Mhm.
you guys are my family. My
Yeah,
mom,
exactly.
my brother, and my dad, those are my relatives.
Mhm.
I feel like family just to me has a different
Yeah, that's a good
meaning.
way to look at it. Because like my friends are my family. Like the people I talk
Yeah.
to who like, you know, who actually give a shit about my well-being. Those are the people I consider family. But like the what I'm referring to as like my genetically connected family, or now I'm gonna call it relatives, like fuck those people, man. They haven't done shit for me. I swear to God, I don't understand. And like when the time comes for them and they need you, oh, can you come over? We need you, or can we this? No, fuck off. Where were you when I was fucking 13 years old and like terrified that I was going to be living on the streets? You weren't around.
Yeah, that's just
Like, get a fucking life.
like my dad, my dad, as physically abusive as he was, he never hurt me worse than when I know obviously that prayer isn't going to do shit. I'm going to bust my ass and I'm going to get to where I'm going to get to. But for him to
Mhm.
say, I'm going to pray for your failure, and if you walk across that stage and you get your degree, then I'm going to know that God's not real. It's like,
Mhm.
oh, it was like, might as well take a shotgun and blow it through my heart. I mean, what like, like you said, there's just some things, even though I've forgiven him since then and we had a talk, and it's just never going to be like it was. It never ever is. Like, okay, you're my father. If I really need something and I have no other way out, then I'll call you. And if you really, vice versa. But that relationship that we used to have, despite the physical abuse, despite
Mhm.
everything he did to my brothers, my mom, and then you say something, or maybe it was just the tipping point. I don't know, but it was horrible to hear that. He also said that he was going to pray that I lost my son to his dad, and his dad like just kept him.
Wow.
And I'm just like, I know that prayer isn't going to do shit, but the fact that the meaning behind that you wish that upon me is, it's just, it's hard to forgive. And if you do forgive it, it's hard to get past it and go back to where you
Mhm.
used to be. And,
Mhm.
and people don't think twice about the crap that they say, you
No, they
know?
don't. You know what? They get caught up in their emotional ruts and they're like, you know what? This vitriol that's building in me because I can't fucking manage my own bullshit, it's about to come out on you. You ready? And you know that dinosaur, like that little dinosaur in Jurassic Park that just like spits that black shit at you? That's what they're
Yes.
doing. It's because they have a shitty feeling inside. And instead of taking responsibility for that fucking feeling, they're going to make it your fucking responsibility. You fucking feel bad for how I feel. I don't want to feel bad. Fuck you. Grow the
And
fuck up, motherfucker. Get
every
out of here.
time, every time I encounter a mad person now, I'm just going to envision that little dinosaur with the thing poking out of its neck. Like,
Yeah, I really like, you learn a lot about people when you see them in difficult and challenging situations in which like there's a lot of discomfort. That's where you see it. That's where the true person comes out. You know what I mean? And like some people can't handle that kind
yeah.
of heat. Some people just can't because you know what? Their ego is too important. They can't be wrong. They gotta be right.
And
You
I'm
know, they'll
sorry.
use whatever they. Yeah, go ahead.
I'm sorry, men, but it's just, it seems to be like a male dominant thing too. Like, I'm sure some women have issues with this, of course they do, but like a lot of my experiences and from what I've heard, like your experience, my friends' experience, coworkers'
Mhm.
experiences, it seems to be like such a man thing,
I think it's just
like
an idiot thing. Because let me tell you, I've been in that position too. I'm not going to sit here and act like, oh, you know, I'm all knowing and I'm all great. I've definitely acted on emotion before, but like,
not to that
I feel
extent
like,
though.
no, fuck no, man. Like, I'm not
That's what
that much of an asshole that I got to completely shit on your character to make a point.
Yeah,
Like,
like try to
no, I don't need to go that
deliberately
low.
hurt
Yeah.
you, like trying to get to you through your past, through your upbringing, through your friends, through,
Through your
that's,
current age.
yeah, yeah, that's,
Hmm.
I could never, and I have never stooped that low as much as I obviously have because I am human, talked out of rage or anger or whatever, or even
Hmm.
sadness. I don't know that I've said anything that horrible that I can't just apologize for and make it better.
Right.
Brady has.
Yeah. And
He's
you know what? There
definitely
comes a
learned.
point where there's some shit like there's some shit that people say that even if you want, like, I personally forgive everything that has been said to me because I'm not gonna hold a grudge. I'm not like that. But in terms of like actually forgiving you, like there's some things you're
Oh
just
my
never
God.
gonna you're never gonna get that closure.
I want to rectify that. I did once. Once I felt like my son was being attacked, and I got into mama bear mode, which is the most
Mhm.
dangerous mode I have. And I did say something absolutely
Mhm.
abhorrent, just horrible, just the worst thing. Um, but yeah, I it was definitely hard to come back from that one, but I did do that. I
Mhm.
forgot all about that because it was like at the beginning of our
Yeah, but I
relationship.
mean, life happens. We do that shit sometimes, and I understand it. But like, it's when it's a repetitive thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
That's when
yeah,
it's a
that's
problem. Like, it's not like you fucking say something once and I'm gonna be like, that's it, you're fucking done. Get the fuck out. Like it's okay. All right, okay, I accept your apology, cool. And then it happens again, and it's like, okay, I accept your
yeah,
apology, it's
that's
cool.
very frustrating.
And again,
And going back to parenting, that is something I also try to teach Yami, be careful
mhm,
of what you say and be careful of how you treat others and what you do. Because if
mhm,
you care about someone, you don't want to hurt them. You don't want to say something just because you're
mhm,
upset and affect that relationship forever.
mhm. Exactly. It really does too, man. It's a sad thing. It's a sad thing that people don't give a fuck about the things that they say to people they claim to care about. You know, whether you're mom, dad, boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever. Like you have to care.
But Amy, I give you all these wonderful things. And Amy, when I mean we were laughing all the time. Amy, we I
Oh
did so many
gosh.
wonderful things for you when things were
I
great. How could
love
you
yeah,
forget all those
I
things?
know. Oh my gosh. Like I'm amazing. Like, oh yeah, okay. I hate that, like that was my parents too. My parents, this is a common theme in my life of people who just think they're so fucking amazing. They can do no wrong. They're so great. They can't do anything wrong. Don't you remember? I did this for you. I did that for you. Amy, I did this for you. Which is my real name, my Indian name. My parents, Amin, I did this for you. How the fuck could you act like this when we do this for you? We fucking raised you. Oh yeah, you beat the shit out of me like the whole time I was at home. But thanks for raising me, mom and dad. Thanks for getting pissed off because I left a fucking sock on the bedroom floor by accident and beating the shit out of me. Thanks for
Oh
like
God.
coming to my bed. Like my mom one time had my little brother in her arms, and I don't know what the fuck I said or what she got pissed about. I was sitting in bed with a book in my fucking lap, and she has the toddler in her arms, and she's punching me. And I had to throw my arms up, and I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? You're hitting me with a kid in your arms. Like, are you nuts?
They are. They
Oh
are
my,
nuts. I mean,
like
to
my
think
mother,
that that's okay
yeah, my mother is
is
just some
insane.
crazy shit. Like I remember she had a neck brace once because her neck was fucked up, right? And she was like, I was just joking around with her. She's like, pass me the remote. And I'm like, what are you gonna do if I don't? Within 10 seconds, I'm like, here, mom. I go back to where I was standing, which was the fireplace across the living room. And what does she fucking do? With all her fucking might, she hucks that remote back at me. And I'm like, yo, fucking psycho. What a psycho. Like my mom has broken plastic spoons on my back. She's so crazy. Dude, when my stepdad found out about my boyfriend when we were 14 because a family member saw us walking out to go get sushi one day, I told my parents I was going out for a walk. Oh my dear Lord. Like my stepdad brandished a fucking meat knife, one of those thick ass meat knives at me. And he said, if you're not out of this fucking house by the time I get back from work, you and that piece of shit are going to be in a body bag somewhere. And I'm like, and I think about this now and I'm like, you were fucking threatening fucking 14-year-olds. Like how unstable are you, man?
And that's also a behavior that, very not that it's limited to, but it's also predominant in certain cultures. My dad was
Oh yeah.
Hispanic.
Oh yeah.
My ex-husband is
Very
Hispanic.
patriarchal, right? The brown cultures.
Yes. Yeah.
Mhm. Mhm.
Like
Brown cultures
obviously
are very
uh,
patriarchal.
obviously of course there's white people that do it, but I feel like they at least know it's wrong and they're just dipshits and do it anyway. I feel like,
Yo, white people have no idea. Not like all these bitches who are crying patriarchy, like these white girls who are crying patriarchy. Not to make it racial, but I totally am going to because they really don't fucking understand what the fuck patriarchy actually is. Like we
oh
grow
yeah,
up,
grow
like
up
the
in
minute
our households.
yeah, like the moment my brother was born. So my mom and stepdad were together. They got together when I was about 3, I think. My stepdad loved me like I was his own daughter. I was so spoiled up until the age I was 10. That's when my first brother was born. My stepfather and mother's first child together, their own child. Oh my God, like I became an adversary to him. Like that relationship became so adversarial so fast. Everything switched. I became the housemaid. I was cooking, cleaning, babysitting the child. Like it was fucking brutal. And he talked to me totally different. Totally different. Now I was a problem he had to deal with, not his daughter.
And don't you
It was
love it?
really
Don't you
crazy.
love it when you get told, how are you going to cook or clean for your husband when you're older?
Oh my God,
Isn't
man.
that like
I
the
mean, is it
best?
really that fucking hard to cook? Is it really that hard to go on the internet and look at shit, look how to make shit? I mean,
Well,
oh
back
my
then,
God.
I like in my 90s, I did not, in my household, I did not have, we had like DSL like way later. I think I was
Dude,
like,
but 90s, well, you were young though. You were really young in the 90s.
yeah, but
We were both really young in the 90s.
internet wasn't like as big as of a thing, but
Oh, sorry. I'm talking about like now. Like now, if you want to cook for your husband, it's pretty fucking easy, right? But
oh
like,
no, growing up, did your mom never tell you you have to clean, you have to cook because someday you're gonna have to do it for your husband?
well, my mom just made me do shit and I just did it.
My
um,
mom would tell me that, and God, I hate just thinking back and knowing what I know now. I
mhm.
hate it so much. It's like I found myself a man who, even though he is paraplegic and in a fucking wheelchair, is, independent enough to make himself a fucking sandwich if I'm not home or clean the
Yeah.
dishes if he sees they need to be done. It's not just on me. And he's in a
Mhm.
wheelchair. So, men, if he can do it, then you fucking can.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know. Yeah, I guess when I was older and shit, my parents definitely domesticated me, but it was never like
As
in my
patriarchal.
house, it was always like, you got to do this for your dad. You got to do it for your dad because I have to work. So you have to do it for your dad when I'm not home. You know what I mean? Like, it was really
Oh,
kind of
okay. Me
weird.
was like more for like a preparation for my future husband because apparently
Yeah.
that's what we do. That's
She
all we're
may
good
have.
for.
Now that I think about it, she may have said it, but I don't quite remember. I don't totally remember. But see, the thing is, like in my situation, what would happen is so in the Indian household, I would marry the boy, and the parents of the boy would live with us, and the mother would probably be cooking, or his fucking like, fuck that shit. Oh my God. Like I live on my own right now and I just could not fucking imagine living with all those fucking people in my house, man. Like, no thanks.
Mhm.
Make your own fucking tea, get your own yogurt, get your own roti. I don't give a fuck. Oh my God. But yeah,
And making it back about parenting, yeah, I definitely I think I have had I definitely had a conversation about independence with him. I said, even if you grow up and you find a wife or husband, whatever.
yeah.
I don't know yet. You don't know yet.
Mhm.
Um you don't want to rely on someone. It's not anyone's job to take care of you except for me right now as a child,
Mhm.
since you're a child. And when you're older, it's going to be just your job. It's not even going to be my job anymore. It's going to be your job to take care of yourself. And if you want to eat, you better learn how to make yourself food. If you want to live in a
Mhm.
clean household, you better learn how to clean and do your own laundry if you want clean clothes. And it's I feel like I have a lot of conversations, and maybe it's because was never given these conversations that I feel I have to have them with him because I felt so lost and naive and ignorant when I came into the real world and I didn't know all this.
Oh my God,
So,
me too. That's the thing. That's why, you know what? I honestly think that now, that's why I just want to talk about everything. I want to talk to different people about different life experiences and shit because, like, there's so much I don't know. And when I got kicked out at 14, there was so much I didn't know. And who the fuck are your friends? Your friends are 14 years old and they all live at home and their lives are
I don't
peachy
know
keen.
nothing.
Yeah. And I'm just
I don't
like,
know anything.
Oh my dear Lord, like I didn't know anything and I was very immature. My maturation happened in like a burst. There was like a singularity, when I was like
And even
20.
then, it wasn't what it should have been because your mind just can't mature the way it
No,
should, even at that
no,
age.
no, it can't. And it's difficult. It's humbling and it's disappointing to know that like it's a slow process. Evolution is a slow motherfucking process, man. It's trial and error over time. And like whether you're talking about, evolution in the existential sense, in the DNA or whatever sense, or like just personal evolution as a human being, like that shit's slow. It's difficult. It
Oh
takes
my
a long
God.
time.
I love that fucking, you should link that video. That fucking video was amazing.
What video? Oh my God, oh yeah, good idea. Actually, I should go
Taste
find
the
it.
sun. I
Serious,
loved
hey,
it
I love when
so
you're just
much.
talking. I will go find that right now, actually. What was it called
I
again?
love that video so
I
fucking
knew you
much.
would too. I was like, I'm gonna send this to her and Brady. They're probably gonna like it.
Oh yeah, and Brady at first was confused, but then as it like went further and further, he was like, "This is like the fucking best. This is the best thing ever."
What was it called? Evolution of the World or something? In 20 minutes, what was it?
Yeah, I think something
Oh,
like
history
that.
of the entire world, I guess.
And
I
it
gotta
was,
do it.
I was in bed going to sleep or trying to go to sleep when you sent it, but I wanted to see what it was anyway. I was like,
Mm.
I think 5 minutes in, I was like, okay, it's too long. He's like, oh, well, it's only like the whole history of everything ever.
Oh my God, it's so funny. I like how he does it so choppy. That's how our attention spans work now. Like, I
Yeah,
feel like on the whole, like it's just upsets me
that's
because
why I want to read again.
yeah, I'm such a long form
Sorry.
conversation person too. I'm
You,
telling you, check it out.
speaking of reading, so when I was younger, I loved reading. Like, I loved it. So I would get in trouble for reading under my desk at school. Like, even though I got like A's on all my tests and I knew fucking everything the teacher asked me to prove
Mhm.
that I did know what she was talking about. Um, I was still getting in trouble for reading under my desk. So it came to the point where my mom and dad, they did not like me reading. Like at home, like, and I'm not a kid going out late at night doing like bad stuff. No, I'm at home reading. That was like bad. They hated it. They
Mhm.
hated it so much. They took books away from me. I ended up like stealing books from the library and hiding them because I knew that if they found out, they wouldn't let me buy anything from the book fair. So I resorted to stealing from the library because if they found out, they would take it away from me and then I wouldn't have my
Mhm.
books. And I think
Oh my
that's just
God.
the God, that is the most ridiculous thing ever because now I so wish that my son he won't pick up on reading. Like he'll read silly books like Captain Underpants, but he won't read
Mhm.
like deeper and longer books than that, like challenging books. But I'm trying, like I
Mhm.
got him I'm gonna try to read it with him. I have him right here, George's Secret Key to the Universe.
Mhm.
Oh, it's with his wife, Lucy and Stephen Hawking. And
Mhm.
George and the Big Bang, Lucy and
Mhm.
Stephen Hawking.
I
So
I love it.
I think it's like kid-friendly versions of, pretty much how things work. And
Mhm.
that I do like the circuitry and coding with him. Like we made the moon lamp, and what's next is a memory game. We're gonna program a memory game, and we're
Oh
gonna.
man, I love those little nerd boxes that you guys are getting. That's so cute. What was your first one? Like making a circuit board or something?
The first one we made a mood lamp. So we set up
Mood
the
lamp.
breadboard with everything. The circuit already comes, like you just have to program it and you have to wire everything on the breadboard to the circuit board and then program the circuit board so that everything on the breadboard does everything that it should or that you want it to.
Mhm.
And so we played with the code a little bit. We made the lights like go faster and slower, and certain colors show up or not at all. And so we had a little bit of fun with it. And I think he's going to really like this memory game. We're going to have to program that one too and wire it.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to integrate my part of me that I love the most into him
Right.
like my love of
Yeah,
knowledge
but
when
you're
I
doing good though. You're like trying different things with him that are science related, and like there's some really cool shit on YouTube too. I can't remember. I've actually been trying to think about it for the last couple of minutes while you've been explaining to me the moonlight, but oh, fuck, man. It's those two brothers. They make really good science videos, and if he likes animated shit, like he could get into that too. There's so much good stuff on YouTube. I fucking love YouTube, man. TV has never ever been as enjoyable for me as YouTube.
yeah, YouTube it's fun. There's this one guy. He's actually a Christian, but he's like insanely smart and he's a scientist. But he's actually
Hmm.
Christian.
But he
So,
probably fucking believes the world is 6,000 years old. So riddle me that. It's hitting my fucking head.
no.
Bro, I saw this guy on TV that said, if the Bible said that 2 plus 2 equals 5, I wouldn't try to understand it. I would just believe it. And I'm like,
Oh my God.
I don't want to live on this planet anymore.
I get there too. Sometimes I get there. Like, I think the only time I've ever respected the views of somebody for a god, and
Mm,
it was intelligence squared. There was this debate with two scientists. Was it two? I think it was two. Two scientists, one for and one for against the
mhm.
existence of a god. And that's probably one of the most interesting debates. Obviously, um, what's his name? Dawkins.
Dawkins, yeah.
Yeah, his are entertaining, but Intelligence Squared, that one debate was it actually, made me think like, oh, I guess I can see that. I still disagree, but that's like the closest I've gotten to respecting an opposing view of a scientist that actually believes in a god.
Mm.
But it's
I love
midnight my time,
intelligence.
so
Oh, are you good? You want to go to sleep?
yes.
Okay. You do that, Livy. I'm going to stop the screen sharing. If you want, I'm probably just gonna say hi to everybody and head out. But it was so good talking to you. I'm so glad you did this, and I hope we do it again soon. I'm excited to do one with Brady, and I hope he joins us next time.
Yeah, he wants to do that friendship one, but don't tell him I
Yeah.
told you you should veer it towards racism because I'm
I'm
interested.
gonna you want me to do that? What if we start fighting now? Because I get impassioned and you know how I am about this. And honestly,
He,
like because I get angry, people really do think that I'm actually racist.
you get passionate, but I wouldn't say you get angry. You get passionate for sure, and you also don't get disrespectful or um
No.
just rude and ignorant. You don't do that. So you make points
Mhm.
passionately. That's like the worst you got going against you.
Yeah.
And he's gonna be fine with that because I also do the same.
Mhm. Okay, good. That's cool.
So
I mean, like, I don't want him to feel like we're ganging up on him or anything because you and I agree on this, actually.
yeah, yeah, and he told his boss that I'm more of an all lives matter, and I disagreed with the Black Lives Matter movement. I was like, look, you need to correct yourself because I do not go for all lives matter either. They're just as ignorant because that whole movement was based on something even more so or equally ignorant as Black Lives Matter, and I'm like, I want
Mhm.
nothing to do with either or.
I
I was
don't think
upset that he freaking said that.
I don't understand how anybody can dispute all lives matter. I mean,
I
isn't that
don't
just kind
dispute
of a
that all
duh?
lives matter. I just the movement, the people behind the movement and why they're doing that is what I disagree with. The
Mm,
obviously all lives do matter, but the
mhm.
movement was really just started because they wanted to like um go against Black Lives Matter, which is I don't know. I guess it's not that bad, but I just don't want to be associated with either or is my
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
And
Yeah,
he was
yeah.
saying I was all lives matter and I'm not. Maybe I agree with certain points of
You're
theirs more
not you're
so.
not for the movement all lives matter, but you are for the principle all lives matter because if you're not, we're gonna fight.
Yes. Yes,
Okay.
obviously I'm for the principle that all lives matter.
Okay, I'm like, bro.
No, obviously the principle, yes.
Mhm.
It's movement that I want nothing with. Just like obviously I'm aware of for every one white person, I think there's like, well, no, not like that. It's like Black people are like twice as likely to get shot by a police officer or whatever, and that's a fact. That's fine, but there's also data behind. Well, anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, this is what happens. We like get on the phone and then it's like we try to say bye and we can't because we just have so much to talk about all the time.
Like there's data that shows that, you know, a lot of the like I think it was like 58%. I get the two. I don't know if burglary or murder, but black people attest for like 58
Homicide. Homicide.
homicide.
Homicide.
Homicide, and burglary. They attest for 58% and 62%. I don't know which one belongs to which, but that's still a really fucking high number, especially given that they're like 13% of the population. So if you want to ask,
so before you go, I'm going to send you on Google a link, and I want you and Brady to watch that video. It's a 6-minute video from Devin, and it was a new one that he did from Atheism is Unstoppable, my favorite YouTuber, and he just did a breakdown of the 10 most murderous counties in America, and he lays it out, and there's a very obvious trend.
But it's a racist trend, Amy. How dare you?
No, right? The facts are racist. Are you a factist? Wow, that's gonna be a fucking word now. Bro, oh my God, I have so much to talk to you about. Hold on.
We should save it for that.
We will.
With Brady.
I don't know how I'm gonna bring that up, and I'll be like, so Brady, racism, huh? Racism, eh? And he's gonna be like, what the fuck? Did you just corner me? I can't believe you.
Well, you have plenty of time to think about how you're gonna go from friendship to racism, because somehow we went from parenting to racism, so it can be done.
No, it always ends in racism these days, okay? That's just how it goes. But thank you so much for talking to me and hanging out with me today, and I will have to touch base with you tomorrow. You have a good sleep, okay?
Okay, well, I love you so much. Okay.
I love you too. Bye.
Bye.
Hey, guys. What's up? Am I still streaming? I think I am. Yes, I am. Whew. Well, how was that? I fucking lost my mind at many points throughout that conversation because, oh my goodness, man, some things just really frustrate me. And to be quite frank with you, I'm super, super happy that this whole hangout thing is a real life thing because I have so much shit in my brain and I don't like keeping it in there because I just feel like it piles up and then like just start acting stupid. You know what I mean? Thank you, everybody, for coming. Spencer and Farter and Doggers and Pong and Brian and Mitzi came for a bit. And did I say Pong? Yes, I said Pong. Who else came? Steve, Crod, all you guys. It was really nice hanging out. I was trying to watch the chat as much as possible, but it's kind of hard to do when you're having a conversation. If any of you guys are ever down to chat or hang out or whatever, I'm always down. Hey, Riley, thank you for coming. Thanks. I appreciate that. I know Dryer was here. I know I saw a couple of people. Pardon me for not remembering. But you guys, any of you guys, if you ever want to chat, hang out for a bit, like I'm always down to listen and talk and whatever, because the whole name of the game is just like expanding experience and learning to converse better, because I feel like it's such a lost art. People don't really talk anymore. And I like to talk a lot, as you guys know. So I hope I get to hang out with you guys sometime. I've met all you guys from Devon's stream, and you guys are fucking awesome. And thank you for listening to me and my friend Diani talk about parenting. And it was really nice. And I hope everybody has a good night. And big kiss.